Good morning, everyone. It's our top of the hour break. If you're new here, I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. We're the longest running radio show in Florida, the most pro-Donald Trump radio show anywhere. It's our top of the hour break, and we're here live 6 until 9 a.m. weekdays here. We're on 4 radio stations, 3 FM radio stations, an AM station, and then we live stream here on YouTube while we're on the radio. This is just our top of the hour break. Going to talk about quite a few things today. There is one thing I'm going to talk about. There's a new poll out from Gallup, or a survey, that Republicans are outnumbering Democrats for the first time. That's one thing I'm going to talk about today. Michael Savage may have just destroyed his radio career with what he tweeted about Rush Limbaugh yesterday. That's another thing to talk about. And this thing with Jeffrey Toobin. Oh my goodness. This thing with Jeffrey Toobin, we are definitely going to be talking about that. Have you heard the thing about Jeffrey Toobin from CNN? Oh my goodness. So we got a lot to talk about.
And do this all day, every day, and it's a very complex thing that they
1
have
minute.
an expertise in. You want to give them a call, and you know,
that's me talking.
so many
Record a
spouses
commercial.
marry, they spend all their assets taking care of their husband, taking care of their wife, and then they pass and they're left with nothing. And sometimes they even sell their home. That's not necessary. Call
I'm not sure
Barry
which
Siegel,
to
a free
start with
consultation
first.
For Steve Kane listeners, his number 1-855.
There's so much to talk about. That's exciting stuff to talk about. I'm not sure where to begin.
That's
Hey, Charlie.
855-352-3782. And, of course, his website,
Here we go.
SiegelLawGroup.com, a brand new updated website that you want to check out as well. Attorney Barry Siegel. All right, Barry, we will talk later in the week.
All right, Brian, thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Take care.
Here we go.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, the Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free.
Clear my throat before we broadcast.
Go Kane 1.
Good morning, every one of you. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest-running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. It's Tuesday morning, October 20th, 2020, and of course, 2 weeks from today, President Trump will be reelected as President of the United States. And there's so much going on to talk about, I almost do not know where to begin. You, of course, are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. There's 3 big topics that I'm going to talk about here early on. I'll just mention what they are, and then I'll decide as I go which one to start with. I'm going to talk about yesterday, Rush Limbaugh made an announcement about his cancer, which was not good. And Michael Savage did something that could be at the end of his broadcasting career. Michael Savage did something way the hell over the line yesterday about that. I want to talk about that early on. There is a new Gallup survey that shows for the first time there are more Republicans than Democrats so far as voters go, which is important. We got to talk about the significance of that. And this Jeffrey Toobin business with the Zoom masturbation. That's something we definitely... Have you guys heard this story about Jeffrey Toobin? I don't even know which one of these 3 to begin with. Well, let me start with Jeffrey Toobin. Jeffrey Toobin. Jeffrey Toobin, he's the CNN legal analyst. He wrote a book that they made an incredible TV movie. He wrote a book on the O.J. Simpson murder trial, Jeffrey Toobin, and they made it into an FX miniseries a couple years back with... Cuba Gooding Jr. playing O.J. Simpson, and it was so good. I almost didn't watch it because I lived through O.J. I'm tired of O.J. What am I interested in that for? And I watched it. It was I couldn't miss a minute of any episode. It was incredible. John Travolta played Robert Shapiro. It was very good. And of course, Jeffrey Toobin. Jeffrey Toobin, he got himself in some trouble. Yeah, let me read this article to you. This is from the New York Post. Are we still allowed to read the New York Post, or has it been canceled? Here's the headline. Jeffrey Toobin was masturbating, now you heard me right, in front of New Yorker Biggs, report says. Now, New Yorker is this, snobby, intellectual, upper crust magazine, right? People have heard of it. Now he is the talk of the town, writes the New York Post. The New Yorker writer and CNN analyst Jeffrey Toobin didn't just expose himself during a Zoom work meeting. He was allegedly caught masturbating in the call with some of the magazine's biggest names and has now been suspended from the publication. Oh my goodness. Zoom and all this stuff, I've used it. I've had Zoom meetings, done different things with the Zoom, and with my Patreon supporters, we've done some Zoom, and we do some things with that. But I've heard from time to time some stories about Zoom getting people in trouble because so many people are doing it now. Remember there was a story a few months ago where it was in Italy. Some reporter was doing the news through Zoom and his mistress walked by him like naked. Remember, all this crazy stuff going on. So people have been getting into all kinds of Zoom problems. So anyway, Jeffrey Toobin was allegedly caught masturbating in the call with some of the magazine's biggest names. He's now been suspended from the publication. I made an embarrassing, stupid mistake believing I was off camera, the 60-year-old married Harvard Law School grad said in a stunning admission to Vice, which broke news of the cringe-worthy incident Monday. I believed I was not visible on Zoom. I thought no one on the Zoom call could see me. I thought I had muted the Zoom video. I apologized to my wife, family, friends, and co-workers. 2 people on the video call told Vice the virtual gathering was part of an election simulation that turned into stimulation for Toobin, I guess. That included New York notables such as Jane Mayer, Evan Osnos, Masha Gessen, and Jelini Cobb. I don't know who any of these people are, but they're bigwigs in New York, I guess. As well as producers from New Yorker Magazine and WNYC Public Radio. The 2 sources said at one point, it looked as if Jeffrey Toobin was taking another call and lowered his camera. And that's when they saw him getting to work on himself, writes the New York Post. It was unclear what, if anything, others on the virtual call saw. During the simulation, Osnos had been playing the role of Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden. Gessen was President Trump. Mayer represented establishment Republicans. Cobb stood in for Democrats, the sources told Vice. What are they doing? Some role play thing? Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Jeffrey Toobin was supposed to be playing the part of the courts. And apparently he was playing the part of Bill Clinton, it looks like, right? While Andrew Morantz represented the far right, Sue Halpern was the left, and Dexter Filkins stood in for the military. I don't know who any of these people are, but apparently the New York Post thinks they're famous people. At one point, there was a break for those playing Democrats and Republicans to strategize together, and that's when sources told Vice they saw Jeffrey Toobin pleasuring himself. He then left the Zoom chat for a few moments and called back in, apparently unaware that his camera had been kept on for at least part of the sex act. A spokeswoman for the New Yorker said Jeffrey Toobin has been suspended while we investigate the matter. The magazine's editor added in an email to staffers, "Dear all, as you may have read in various news reports today, one of our writers, Jeff Toobin, was suspended after an incident on a Zoom call last week. Please be assured that we take such matters seriously and that we are looking into it." CNN added Jeffrey Toobin would be taking time off from the cable network where he is the senior legal analyst. Jeff Toobin has asked for some time off. This is CNN, yeah, I bet. While he deals with a personal issue, which we have granted, a CNN rep said. Jeffrey Toobin, a New Yorker staff writer, famously covered the O.J. Simpson trial for the mag in the 90s. And they get into that movie I was telling you about. But Monday wasn't the first time he's been in the news over a personal controversy. In 2008, it was rumored he was the father of a love child with lawyer Casey Greenfield, the daughter of political pundit Jeff Greenfield, who was working at CNN at the time. Toobin, married since '86 to former Harvard classmate Amy McIntosh, with whom he has a son and daughter, was eventually proven to be the father's child's father, according to reports. They wrote it backwards. They said he was eventually proven to be the father's child. Okay, the kid was the father. Okay, whatever. I don't know. Some strange writing there. So anyway, Jeffrey Toobin was masturbating. Now, they don't get into speculation on this. I don't know who any of these people are. These names that the New York Post dropped, and they seem to be, well-known people in New York circles. That's why the New York Post put the names in there. I'm guessing that there's one of these women that Jeffrey Toobin has an eye for, and he was, in particular, pleasuring himself to one of the New Yorker women. That's what my guess would be. My goodness. Oh. This looks like something that would happen to George Costanza in an episode of Seinfeld. Remember there was that episode of Seinfeld where George got fired for having sex with the cleaning lady on the desk in the office? Remember that? It's kind of like this. Could you imagine if this was one of the analysts over at Fox News Channel? What would happen? Oh my goodness. All right, listen. Your calls are welcome on this, and open phone so long as it's relevant to the election era that we're now in at 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Brian.
Oh, hey, Nick.
You need any more proof that the left is perverted?
Yeah, I know.
It's amazing, all these left-wing media people. What do you have? Matt Lauer. You have who's the guy at CBS Moonbees?
Yeah.
This. I wanted to throw something else out. You were talking about how much news there is, and I'm gonna shout out to everybody. Did everybody watch Laura Ingraham last night?
I was asleep by that time. What was on?
There was a segment in there. She had Victor Davis Hanson and Molly Hemingway on, and she played a clip of Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, right? And she said, pay attention to the lower left-hand corner of your screen. And in the lower left-hand corner was a little cube that said 8645.
Yeah, I mentioned that on the show yesterday briefly. I didn't get into it too much. I'm glad Laura Ingraham picked up on that, because the significance is that Whitmer was talking about how Trump was causing, I guess, threats against her.
She's reversing it. She's threatening him.
Well, 86, to me, 80, it's an old expression. You don't hear too much anymore. 86. To me, 86 always meant throw away, like put in the garbage, do away with. And this thing 8645 seems to be inappropriate to me, no matter who the president is.
Very dangerous.
Well, I'll tell you about Gretchen Whitmer. Okay, she's a complete lunatic. And now this is just, and I'm not talking about because she's a liberal. My personal opinion, I am not a doctor nor a healthcare professional, but when I see her on television, and this goes back to, I first saw her during the beginnings of the lockdowns. I never paid attention to her before. She does not look like a sane person to me, and she has the same look in her eyes that Comey has.
Same.
And yeah, and this out of controlness that she's gotten into with the lockdown seems to be something she enjoys. The power over her people in her state. Like Cuomo in New York. And, what she tells herself is, if I were a man, they wouldn't resist this. What I'm doing, I'm just because I'm a woman, and they don't want a woman telling, so hear me roar, I'm a woman. And so far as this kidnap plot that was foiled, that's a terrible thing, and I'm glad it was foiled, and I've heard they were not Trump people. In fact, the leader was an anti-Trump person, according to a video we posted on social media. But she, the thing you got to understand with Gretchen Whitmer is she is planning on running for higher office, and I don't mean the Senate. She plans on running on the Democrat presidential or vice presidential ticket one day. She thinks that's where she's going. So everything she does is showboating. In my view, I could be wrong, but that's how I view it.
Exactly. And what I think the main point I'm driving here at is that they
Steve Kane Show.
They're gone too far. They've gone too far.
When you say they've gone too far, what do you mean about what? About this 86-45?
Yeah, all of it. The left is they're just out of control. I mean, it's dangerous. I mean, this is sickening now. This is really, it's always been sick, but this has gotten to the point where it's metastasized into a mental.
You know, it's really amazing how I understand why the political establishment are against Trump, because he's not part of the establishment, and the establishment's losing control. I'm not agreeing with them, but I mean, I understand. But rank-and-file Democrats, you hear President Trump talks a lot about this in his rallies. Regular voting Democrats, in particular Bernie Sanders people, should be strong supporters of President Trump because he's against this corporate control over the government that the liberal voters and Bernie Sanders activists have been complaining about for a long time. So, you know, he crosses party lines. I don't understand why more Democrat vote. I know there's a lot of walk away, and I'm not, there are a lot of people that have woken up to it, but I don't understand why there are not more Democrats supporting Trump, because he's fighting against the very things they claim to be fighting against themselves.
Well, I think there are in reality, and I think that you're going to find, and you're leading up to the point you're going to make later on about the
with the Gallup, yeah,
outnumbering the Democrats, and that's what the media is misrepresenting everything, but in reality, it's coming out that in early voting, Republicans are in the majority. Republican registration.
That's right. That's right. All right, Nick in Baltimore, I got to run for our first break, but thanks for the call. All right, it's Tuesday morning. We'll take our first break of the day. This is the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian Craig. If you're on hold, stand by. Do not go anywhere. We're going to take our break and right back to your phones after this.
Hi, this is Debbie Klatzoff, president and owner of I Will Advisors. It's that time of year. It's open enrollment, October 15th to December 7th. This is the one time a year you're able to make changes to your health plan. At I Will Advisors, we offer a free, no-obligation education on all of your Medicare options. We represent almost every major national carrier and will assist you in finding the right plan that suits your needs. Call today, 954-753-8080. Again, 954-753-8080.
Steve Kane radio listeners love Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca.
I went over to Champagne Automotive, and I got to say that this man is the most fair mechanic I have dealt with in my entire life. We took a car over there that was not being used yet. It belonged to my 90-year-old dad. Everybody I had taken it to before was charging an astronomical amount of money. But when we took it over there, Eddie took a look at it, and I got to say that this man fixed the car, running like a charm. Anybody that needs a mechanic, I strongly recommend Eddie, and he is just the best thing that's happened to this family as far as car maintenance goes.
I'm waiting for that, William.
And the price was right.
Champagne
Do you really want to see
Boca
a video of Jeffrey
Toobin?
Toobin?
Your car that your car doesn't need, and their prices are low. Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca. Give them a call, 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show. All of the commercials that we run, where you hear listeners, like the one for Champagne Automotive or whatever commercial it is, all of these are non-solicited by us. These listeners, they end up in commercials in one of two ways. Sometimes, and you've heard these calls, they call us live on the radio, and I just put an intro and an outro on the call, and sometimes they leave messages on the voicemail. So that's how we do it. So yeah, none of these are solicited, and they're all it's very much appreciated, those of you that have called in and support this program by supporting our sponsors, and we appreciate you telling us how happy you are with them. All right, back to the phones. You are on the radio. Good morning. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. Hi, it's Todd from Sunrise. How you doing?
Hey, Todd in Sunrise. You got to talk up a little loud. You're on the Bluetooth with the window down, but that's okay.
I'm driving on I-75. It's a little bit.
All right, that's okay.
I was wondering what your thoughts are about the mute button at the debate on Thursday.
It's outrageous. Now, they're claiming they're claiming that the mute button is only going to be during the 2-minute openings that each of them have. And I wonder if that includes President Trump not being interrupted in his opening when he goes through the crimes of Joe Biden.
Yeah, that's my concern, is that that the moderator is going to interrupt him freely, but not Biden.
Yeah, what if the president points out, as he's been doing on Twitter, that the moderator went to the White House Christmas morning with the Obamas? You know, will that get muted out? Will he be interrupted? Interruptions count as mutes to me. And I think it's a little vague as to whether or not the mute button will be used throughout the debate. Very vague.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It just seems like another manipulation by the so-called nonpartisan debate commission.
Well, I'll tell you, President Trump is president of the United States. How dare some reporter from NBC News have the ability to mute the leader of the free world? Can you imagine them doing that to any other president ever? It's outrageous.
Nah, I don't know. The thing is, though, I think it's more important that he gets his attacks on the emails on Biden publicly, because it's been hidden.
Well, the point of that mute button is cowardly. It's weak. We don't have a mute button here. People claim that we do. There's no mute button. I remember once we had this liberal, we let him host the show for a day, and he was always complaining about this mysterious mute button here that we have, which we don't have. And the first call he took, he says to me, "Brian, where's the mute button?" I said, "It doesn't exist, jackass." But it was only in your mind. The mute button is because they don't have the ability to handle Trump in a debate. And he's going up against Biden and Kristen Welker, the moderator, and they still need an extra tool and a mute button. There's two of them. They can't handle him?
It's a 2-on-1 situation, and they're really trying to leave him as defenseless as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, appreciate the call from I-75. All right, take care. I remember when they built I-75. I drove that road. I was down in the Keys, and I-75 had just opened. I was with some buddies of mine, and we drove on that road because it just had opened. And there wasn't a car on it. We were the only car on it in the middle of the day on the weekend. And I remember saying, why the hell did they build this road? Who's going to be driving out here? And now I-75 has some of the worst traffic in South Florida on it, doesn't it? You're on the radio. Good morning.
Hi, Brian. How are you doing today?
I'm all right. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Jeff. I'm from Coral Springs.
Hey, Coral Springs. What's going on?
So I'm kind of curious. I look at the Biden crime family as the Soprano crime family. Why doesn't somebody ask Carmela about Hunter's activity for Meadow, his granddaughter who's involved with the campaign? Because the granddaughter's actually in some of the texts.
Are you talking about Hunter's daughter, the one that was with Biden the other day with the mask on? Yeah. Well, this is the thing. What he does, Joe Biden, is exploit members of his own family, and gets them involved in his criminal enterprises. And they're really victims of this. It's kind of like Chelsea Clinton was involved in a lot of the Clinton Foundation business. They've been born into this and exploited by their father and grandfather. I don't blame them at all. I blame Joe. And you know who else I blame too? Jill and Joe, the wife. Dr. Biden, the doctor of English Lit or whatever the hell it is.
Carlos Soprano.
Yeah. By the way, you're in Coral Springs. There's a big issue with voting in Coral Springs that's making the national news today. Did you hear about this story? Oh, a couple people went to early vote yesterday over by the Coral Springs Mall, and they weren't wearing masks. And the people at the voting location, the poll watchers, called the police, had them removed, wouldn't let them vote. This was just yesterday in Coral Springs. Police came, called their supervisor, let them vote. They voted maskless in Coral Springs yesterday, and they told the poll workers that if someone comes in to vote without a mask, it is not a police matter. Do not call us. Big things get national attention. Coral Springs on the map, baby. But yeah, you make some good points. The Biden crime family. But how about this though? When Trump's reelected 2 weeks from today, should we just let it go?
the message earlier. I honestly think that they should hand Hunter over to whatever country he was committing those sex acts with those minors.
I don't know about all that stuff. You got to be careful with a lot of these things that get put out there, because a lot of these things are put out there to be distractions, to get you to talk about this other thing, you know what I mean? As opposed to get your eye on the ball. There's a lot of things that get dropped and leaked out that may be true or may not be true, that are meant to discredit people talking about the whole issue. So you got to be careful about that. All right, appreciate the call. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, it's Mike and Boca.
Hey, Mike and Boca, what's up?
Yeah, I think the most important story of the day is that mute button. I hope that Mike Pence has been talking to him, because Mike Pence got muted a lot by Kamala, but at the same time, he destroyed her. So, President Trump has to use that tactic. Let Joe talk. The more he talks, the more of an old phenom man he's done.
No, I don't agree with that at all. This idea of letting him talk, no, because a lot of the things that we take for granted, okay, some of the racist past of Joe Biden, a lot involving this laptop revelations, right? You and I know this stuff like the back of our hand, but believe it or not, most people in the country do not.
Get this 2 minutes. I think when he talks for the 2 minutes, Trump hears it. Trump is already way ahead of everyone. He's gonna talk about that laptop, his racist past, his 47 years of doing nothing.
Well, what I would like President Trump, if they're going to have a mute button, no one can talk. I wonder if that goes for Kristen Welker they're saying the mute button is only going to be used during the 2-minute monologue, which but I find most of the reporting on it, again, vague, acting as if it can be used at other points. And if they use it at other points, what are they going to do? It's a live event. I would like the president to spend his 2 minutes talking about two things. One, discrediting the moderator, okay, briefly, about, her Democrat Party ties and spending Christmas with the Obamas, and pointing out that the other two moderators, too, were Democrats. That needs to get out there. And then spend the rest of the 2 minutes talking about the laptops and Joe Biden's crimes, and that he was, when you talk about Hunter Biden, you're talking about a guy that's got some serious substance abuse problems. And for Joe to exploit his son with major substance abuse problems and turn him into a cash mule for him, that's what I'd like to hear the rest of it about. And I find it impossible to believe, if he did those two things, that Kristen Welker would let him go on for 2 minutes about it. I just don't see that happening. But that's what he should do in his 2 minutes, in my opinion.
I agree with you up to a point. I think he's going to talk about the three moderators throughout the debate. So you're going to be hearing about them in some aspect. As far as Toobin goes, I think he's finished. I don't think you'll see him on TV anytime soon. And if he does come back, it's going to be like an RT network or some off-the-wall news.
Well, my guess with this, if you're just tuning in, Jeffrey Toobin, CNN senior legal analyst, he's kind of like the Judge Napolitano of CNN, was masturbating on a Zoom call with New Yorker magazine, which he's a worker for, and with their entire senior staff. And my guess is that there's one of these, I don't recognize any of these names they mentioned, but there's one of these ladies that he's got a thing for, and I think he was masturbating to one of his New Yorker co-workers in particular.
Would you want to be this is funny, would you want to be the guy this morning talking to these women and asking them what they saw?
Oh, it'd be hilarious. I'm wondering if there's any video of this. Zoom calls aren't typically recorded, but that doesn't mean people don't have screen grabs. I wonder if we're going to see any photographs or video from the Toobin masturbation Zoom.
I don't know, but it is this. And you did say about other news guys. Anthony Weiner comes to mind.
Yeah, Anthony Weiner, but he was, what Anthony Weiner was doing was bad, but it was in private. He wasn't doing it at a work video meeting,
Why would you want to do something like that? Like you said, it has to be with one of the women, because if you're going to do something professional, why would you be doing that kind of?
Because he's a pervert, and he's got a thing for one of these women.
Besides that, when I read the story, besides being on camera, it was not muted. So besides seeing him, they also heard him.
Yeah. I know. All right, Mike and Boca, I appreciate the call. Listen, we're going to take our bottom of the hour break. When we get back, more of your calls. Great calls this morning. Thanks, everyone, for calling in. Great contributions to the program. 2 weeks from today, the president will be reelected. And we have open phones so long as it's related to the news of the day right now, because there's so many stories going on, so many issues. The mute button at the debate, Jeffrey Toobin. I'm going to get into this thing with Rush and Michael Savage. There's so much going on. How can you talk just about one thing? So we're going to keep it open phones so long as it's relevant to the news of the time, all right? 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Do you want to keep your home and business free from germs and COVID-19? You can with the help of Extreme Germ Busters.
Yeah, it's on.
Extreme Germ Busters have the most advanced disinfectant delivery system on the planet. It kills 99.9%
He was making sure the delay was on because we were talking about Jeffrey Toobin. You never know, someone might say something, We have a 20-second delay. The rate from the studio down the hall, where the control room is, and then they have another 20-second delay from what goes out on the radio. So what's on the radio was 40 seconds ago.
Prices are low.
So,
in fact, they
yeah,
charge about
we have
half
the longest
of what
delay in
other companies
radio.
charge. After they disinfect your location, they give you a completion certificate so you can display it in your lobby. And their COVID-19 disinfectants are made right here in the USA. Give them a call right now. 954-69-GERMS. That's 954-694-3767. Online, ExtremeGermBusters.com. That's Extreme, X-T-R-E-M-E. And for you
No, I'm going to
Spanish
get to that in a
speakers,
little bit. I
speak
haven't gotten to the
Spanish.
Gallup
Prevent
yet.
the spread of COVID-19 and germs by keeping your employees, clients, customers, patients, and your family safe. 954-69-GERMS.
This is Lori Kane, and I want to tell you about Brighton Dental Care. I just had a lot of work done, and I avoided going to the dentist for a lot of years because I was afraid of
Don't
the
worry.
talk.
Oh, by the way, I do have a Patreon supporter website. If you guys want to support me, support my content, become a Patreon supporter. There is a link in the description of the video, and there's also a link on my website, briancraigshow.com. If you're a Patreon supporter, there's lots of perks. You get commercial-free editions of every one of my podcast episodes. I do a weekly video chat with our Patreon supporters, my wife and I. We have all kinds of merch that we give out to people. And also, our Patreon supporters have the ability to call me and my wife that co-hosts my podcast all the time, randomly, whenever you feel like it, privately. And people do. But, there's a link to my Patreon page in the description of the YouTube video.
Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for
All right, welcome back, everyone. My name's Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, 36 minutes after the hour. And I want to get into this thing with Rush Limbaugh and then what Michael Savage did. Michael Savage did something yesterday. I'm going to have to enlist you out there in the listening audience because I saw a tweet on my Twitter feed from Savage. I unfollowed Michael Savage on Twitter because of this tweet that I'm going to share with you shortly. I do not know if he did this on the radio yesterday. So when I get to this Michael Savage thing, let me know, yes or no, if he did what he did on the radio. He did it on Twitter, and Michael Savage may have done something that could do very serious damage to him so far as his radio career goes, because he went way over the line. Now, I think most people out there know that Rush Limbaugh has lung cancer, and he's been going through treatments. You know, Rush has had some difficult times, hasn't he? Right? Remember years ago he had the opioid addiction that led to his hearing loss, and he overcame that with the implant. I mean, can you imagine working in radio and losing your hearing? It's amazing. He was able to go on with that, and this cancer just hit him hard. And he hasn't been there every day. He takes time off because he's got these treatment weeks, and the treatment's a real kicker. So he's missed a lot of shows, and it's been tough, and he's been getting through it. And he got some devastating news that he shared with his listeners yesterday. Let me just play a clip of it. This is Rush yesterday.
It's tough to realize that the days where I do not think I'm under a death sentence are over. Now, we all are, is the point. We all know that we're going to die at some point, but when you have a terminal disease diagnosis that has a time frame to it, then that puts a different psychological and even physical awareness to it.
Okay. Yeah, and he went on. He did about 15-minute thing, 10 or 15 minutes talking about what he's been going through and what he's learned, and it is not good. Apparently, the treatments were working so far as stopping the growth of the cancer, but he recently found out that it's growing, it's spreading again, and you can tell it's not looking good by what he said there. So Savage tweeted this out yesterday. Now, I don't know if Savage did this on the radio, but he tweeted it, and it's a pretty bad thing. This is what Savage tweeted. I want you to know, I'm reading word for word what Michael Savage tweeted about what Rush Limbaugh announced yesterday. Savage says this: Limbaugh's crying about his cancer on air? Worst 15 minutes in radio history, with an exclamation mark there. Spilled a large coffee all over counter and floor. Does he mean he spilled coffee or Rush did? I'm not sure. And then the next part, Savage put in all caps, which means he's yelling, the emphasis. I promise my audience I will not drag you down with me. Best wishes, Rush. But stop and leave the stage with dignity. And then he followed it up with one more tweet. Compare this to Lou Gehrig in Yankee Stadium. Okay. Now, this is just my view. I know this is. I'll talk about Savage in a moment, but I want to just talk a little bit about Rush, and I want to hear your thoughts on this at 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Both Rush and Savage. Okay, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. KANE and the number 1. I've listened to Rush Limbaugh more since this happened, since this announcement came, than I have in many, many years. And I got a lot of respect for Rush. It's just a time of day that's difficult for me to listen to radio all the time. And I don't listen every day, but I do tune in more than ever. And I did go online this morning and listen to his whole talk about his updates on his cancer. And it was tough to listen to. It was really tough to listen to. You can't even tell the guy's got cancer. You can't even tell he's sick when you listen to him on the air. And I'm of the opinion that the reason that he is doing as well as he has and that he's still with us is because of the show. I think the show is keeping Rush alive. I really do. It gives him a purpose. Gives him something to do, a feeling of, of I've got to do this, I've got to be somewhere, as opposed to sitting home. And Rush Limbaugh does not have children. He's got family, he's got a wife, he's got nieces and nephews and a brother and all that. That's not the same as having kids. And I think most of us, if we have kids, like I have a daughter, you get a diagnosis like this, you spend time with your family, but what good does it do to sit at home saying goodbye constantly for months or however long? You know, and these comments from Savage I find disgusting. It's just jealousy. I almost feel like Michael Savage recently got some news that he wouldn't be the Rush Limbaugh replacement, because believe me, there's a lot of these sharks and piranhas circling to be the next Rush Limbaugh and replace him in that time slot. I'd like to know, give me a call on the air if Michael Savage did this on the air or not. But this is just total jealousy, you know, that Michael Savage has towards Rush. He's got similar jealousies towards Hannity, but mostly Rush. He feels he's better than everybody else, and he doesn't understand why he's not as well respected and well liked and not as big as these guys are. He's big. He's worth millions of dollars, Michael Savage. Because of that energy drink his son created that he owns a piece of, he may be wealthier than Hannity and Rush. I don't know. But that's not what it's about with him. This is one of the most bitter, nasty things I've ever heard a man say. This is what liberals are saying about Rush since he made the announcement on social media. This is what liberals were saying about the president when he got the COVID. And I was talking to Steve about it this morning. We'll talk more about it later when Steve joins us. But this could do serious long-term damage to Michael Savage because he shares an audience with Rush, just like we do, right? A lot of you listen to Rush, you listen to us, and Michael Savage could find stations dropping him over this. This is in such bad taste. And if Michael Savage has any sense, he'll go on the air and apologize for this today. Even if he didn't mention it on the air and just did it on Twitter, he'll go on the air and apologize for it. I think. And he's talking about Lou Gehrig. Well, I don't know about that, but I know about Michael Landon. Remember Michael Landon? Michael Landon, a lot of people have forgotten Michael Landon, but Michael Landon was a big, big American icon. Everybody loved Michael Landon, right? Little House on the Prairie, Bonanza. I wasn't a big fan of the Highway to Heaven show, but everybody loved Michael Landon. He was with us, and he had what kind of cancer did he have? Was it a stomach cancer? And Michael Landon got a diagnosis that he had a month to live, and he did something I've never seen anyone do. It's similar to Rush, but he had an actual time limit on it. Michael Landon, he had a press conference in front of his house with his family, and then he went on every television talk show and talked about it. I get to say goodbye to his fans, and he did that for, remember, he was the big famous one, I guess, was it Carson? Was Carson still doing the show, or was it Jay Leno at that point? But I thank Michael Landon for doing it. I was a big Michael Landon fan, and I think most people were, and I thought it was healthy for him and for fans. And I wouldn't compare, I don't know about the Lou Gehrig, all I know is from the movie, okay? It's before my time, and movies, I don't know what it was really like and the mood at the time, but I compare what Rush is doing more to the Michael Landon event. But this thing with Michael Savage is probably, people, I've said things on the air that I've regretted. I've done things on the air I'm not going to tell you what any of them are. There's only a handful of things. One or two things in particular I've done. But that was just youth. I was young. That doesn't happen anymore because I'm a grown-up, right? Although my wife may disagree with that grown-up part sometimes. But, he's not a child. He's not a kid, Michael Savage. He's a grown man who's filled with anger, filled with jealousy, and this is probably, and I'm really been racking my brain about it because I first saw this last night, and I was so outraged by it. It was like about 6:30, 7 o'clock. I picked up the phone. I called Steve. I said, "You're not going to believe this." And I was racking my brain thinking this morning, I cannot think of an example. Maybe you can, but I cannot think of an example when a conservative radio person has gone this far over the line, in my view. A conservative. I know people have gone over the line and done crazy things, but I'm talking about a conservative. And there's sometimes people do things that you can't get out of your mind. I don't think Michael Savage has it in him to apologize. I don't think he does. I think his ego is so fragile that he could not get himself to apologize. If he had a lick of sense, Savage, he would have already done it on Twitter, but he'd go on the radio and open his show with an apology. Because sometimes, see, what Savage has is what liberals have the Trump derangement syndrome. Savage for years has suffered from the Rush Hannity syndrome, derangement syndrome. He's always been jealous of them. And it's come out over the years, but this is just too far. And no, I think the radio show, I think Rush is with us still today because of the radio show. I think it will add life to him. And I think that if he didn't have that radio show to go to, he would have nothing else to keep him going. All right, let's take our last break of the first hour. Back with your calls, not just on this. I want to hear your thoughts on Rush, on Savage, but the other topics on the table. The Toobin masturbation Zoom meeting. We're going to continue with that a little bit. The mute button at the debate, and much, much more. Our number is toll free from anywhere. 1-888-GO-KANE1. That's KANE and the number 1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631.
It's tough to realize that the days where I do not think I'm under a death sentence are over. Now,
95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
If you suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point in your life? And foot ulcers, when you have diabetes, can lead to severe health consequences up to and including amputation. Now, Medicare recognizes the importance of preventative foot care and has provided coverage for those of you who are at-risk patients. I want to introduce you to my good friends at the Soul Authority. At the Soul Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to one pair of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not ugly Frankenstein shoes. These are name-brand shoes. They're stylish. They'll provide you with the extra width and extra depth to stop diabetic foot problems before they begin. Oftentimes, amputation due to diabetes is preventable, and one of the preventable measures that is most effective is wearing the proper shoes. Call the Soul Authority at 954-597-7060 or online at thesoulauthority.com. That's THESOLE authority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
I want to tell you about Dr. Troy Lomaski. If that name sounds familiar, it should, because he's my brother, the other Dr. Lomaski
Oh, hey, Debbie.
in the family. He
Thanks
saved me
for that
from
super chat yesterday, by the way. If I didn't give
One
you
of
a
the
thank you
first
yesterday, I
times
wasn't
just
sure that I
after a
did.
car accident. Someone hit my front passenger side
I think I
door
did, but I
and
wanted to
pushed
make
my
sure I
car
did.
over 2 lanes. I only felt a little stiff at the time,
Steve
but
Kane
needless
Show.
to say, as he told me, a day later, I was in terrible pain with my back, my neck, and my arms. I couldn't move. I went to see Dr. Troy at his office in Fort Lauderdale, where my mom actually had to drive me because I could not even drive. The pain was so severe. He didn't just adjust me or manipulate me, but he honed in on exactly where the pain was and knew where he had to
Carson
do
was
some
still doing
light
the show when
stretching
Landon went
and
on. Yeah,
manipulate
that was what,
specific
91.
areas so carefully until I felt better. His knowledge, ability to know exactly where your pain is, and his hands are healing tools. If you were in a car accident, whether it was a fender bender or a major crash, call Dr. Troy Lomaski at 954-463-3036. That's 954-463-3036. When you call, tell him his sister, Dr. Janae, sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Back to our phones, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Richie, the bus driver, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Brian. Yeah, when a guy is down, you don't kick him, okay? Bottom line is that Rush Limbaugh is a very humble man. The only time you hear him is on his show. He doesn't go on the circuits and guest tours anywhere. So the bottom line is that Michael Savage is totally out of line. I mean, it's really disgusting. And the man is dying, and you don't.
Yeah, and I mean the bitterness. I mean, just the jealousy. And you know what? Another thing I take from it is, talk radio is amazing. I love talk radio. I was a listener of talk radio before I was in talk radio, and you know this, Richie. With like Steve and I feel a connection to you and the listening audience. And I think Rush does too. I don't think Savage does, though. Savage obviously doesn't understand the connection between a host and the listening audience. He would understand a little bit better what was going on.
Well, I'll give you another example. You mentioned Michael Landon. How about Alex Trebek? And Alex Trebek has been keeping people updated, and he's gone on different shows.
Yeah, and he's survived, and he's back. He's doing the Jeopardy and everything. I don't know what the long run thing is going to be, but yeah.
Cancer, same as Michael Landon.
Oh, it's pancreatic cancer, Michael Landon. Yeah.
And I believe Steve McQueen had the lung cancer. I'm not sure, but anyway, he's become like part of our life. It's like turning on a light bulb. There are a lot of people out there that can't wait for 12 o'clock every day. So, I mean, it really hurts them, and they feel a personal connection.
Even if you're not a fan, he's still a human. And Michael Savage, I mean, I find Michael Savage, I don't know if he did this on the radio or just on Twitter. I don't think Michael Savage has it in him to apologize. Yeah, you can. You can say if I went and listened. I didn't hear Rush yesterday, so I went this morning before I left home and went and listened to his talk about the cancer. Oh my goodness, it was hard to listen to. It was tough, and then he got a show to do. He could apologize and say, I went back, I listened, I'm very sorry, I didn't realize. This could cost Michael Savage stations.
Yeah, Rush also admitted when he had the drug problem to everybody. He went through that with everybody.
I remember before it came out that he had the substance abuse problem, which it was oxycodone, wasn't it? When Rush Limbaugh is the first celebrity type person that I can think of that came forward with oxycodone addiction issues, and he probably did, and him coming forward about it probably helped a lot of people, but I remember before it came out, okay, he had already lost his hearing, or was losing it before we found out about it, and people were commenting that he was sounding strange on the air. You maybe remember this. And he came out, and then he did his stint in rehab, and he came back, and he overcame that, and today is a different time than then. I don't think people realized how addictive oxycodone was and how doctors were prescribing it like candy and getting people hooked on oxycodone. And today I think people have a bigger appreciation for it. But the way Savage is talking, this is how liberals talk.
Yeah. Now, I want to change course real quick. I want to personally attack Al from Coral Springs and personally attack the whole Democratic voting machine out there, the people that are out there voting for Biden because they hate President Trump so much, okay? The socialist communists out there. Richard Nixon was shamed into resigning. And you remember his words on television, "I'm no crook." Well, you have a crook right now. There's no getting around that this is the laptop of his son with the emails directed at his father taking money. If you don't call that a crook, this isn't paper.
Well, the closest comparison to Biden's crimes, to my knowledge, okay, and again, I'm not all knowing. Spiro Agnew Now, this is my recollection. I haven't gone back to look this up, and I was a little baby, But Spiro Agnew was vice president, and it came out that he took a bribe, a payoff of sorts, when he was in state government years before. And my recollection, $75,000 pops in my mind, and that was before he was in federal office, when he was in state government, is my recollection. And I'm not condoning that, but he was gone, and that was and that was for I believe a $75,000 kickback. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars using the White House to do it.
The morality of the Democratic Party is in the toilet bowl. We've known that for a long time. Everything goes. They accept everything but conservatives. I mean, you could be a street walker. You could be a carjacker. You could be what they call a peaceful protester, burning out, taking merchandise out.
If you want to know what the liberal heart is like, go to Twitter and just search Rush Limbaugh and read what people are, because of the savage thing, it's picking up a little talk on the Twitter, and see what people are saying today about, the liberals are saying about Rush. They're sick people. And, there was that exchange, I'm going to play it in the next hour, on the tarmac with the reporter and the president yesterday about Biden being a criminal, and he says, you're a criminal for not reporting it.
That was the bald-headed guy from, I think, CNN or ABC, I'm not sure.
It's hard to tell. They all got the masks on,
Yeah, but here we go with this. To me, it's not taking a bribe. This is like a spy. This is worse than a spy because you control for.
Well, you know what it looks like to me. It looks like to me, and this is scary. It looks like to me that they just set up a business. Like, okay, I'm vice president now and I can do this. I don't know. I haven't heard any claims about him doing anything when he was in the Senate, but I'll tell you, there was a lot. People wondered why he left the Senate to be second banana vice president to this kid, Obama, and now we know, because he had aspirations on setting up this family business.
Check it out. We let China take over
small
all
potatoes
those islands. It didn't do nothing about it when they were in power, him and Obama. I mean,
Well, yeah, and this is another thing to consider about the crimes of Joe Biden. He was just vice president. You always hear there is no federal office with less power than the vice president, right? They got nothing to do. They're weak. They've got no power. Look at what he was able to do as vice president, a weak office with no power, less power than a member of the House of Representatives, right? Imagine what he would do as president.
Look at Russia. They were talking about President Trump. Russia. Look at what they did with Crimea, Russia. I mean, Russia. They took. This is such a scam. You sent people to die. You sent soldiers into places to die, and you pull soldiers out after they've died to fatten your wallet.
So now we gotta run here for the break. Do you think Michael Savage is going to pay a price for this disgusting comment about Rush yesterday?
Yeah, he will, because conservatives have morals.
Yeah. I know this is minor, but I unfollowed Michael Savage on Twitter yesterday. It's like I unfollowed Michael Cohen when he got, I mean, what else can I do? I'm not a big listener of Savage. I tune it on occasion. But I unfollowed him on Twitter. That's all I can do. I'm not a boycotter or a protester, but there are some things that are just disgusting to me, and I can't go back.
He has no heart. He showed he had no heart.
And he's consumed. I mean, think about it. Michael Savage is worth many millions of dollars, especially with that energy drink thing of his son, right? Because he owns part of that, from what I understand. He has financial success that less than 1% of Americans will ever achieve, and he's still consumed with his jealousy of both Rush and Sean Hannity. Sure.
What kind of ice cream do you like? Do you like chocolate vanilla? That's the toughest question I've ever asked you. Have a good one.
Yeah, right. He's mocking the debates. Okay, we'll take our break for the top of the hour. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977, Let's take that break, and we'll be back.
5.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
When it comes to customer service, nothing beats Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware in Lauderdale by the Sea.
Hi, Brian. This is Dean from Deerfield Beach. I wanted to thank you and Steve and the fine people over at Ace Hardware. I was the winner of the raffle, and I'm proud to say I have a beautiful new Weber grill. So I want to thank you and let you know that the people over there are the customer service. You will not find better people. You know, people like Steve, Stacy, Bill, and Dan, terrific. So thank you again, and God bless.
Ace Hardware Deerfield is located at 365 South Federal Highway, just south of Hillsborough, on the west side of US 1. Beach Ace Hardware is located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, Lauderdale by the Sea. And when you stop in, tell Frank, he's the owner, that you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Ace is the place for the helpful hardware, folks.
Seniors, open enrollment is here. This is the one time of year you can make changes to your Medicare plan. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080, 954-753-8080, and have her review your Medicare plan.
Welcome, everyone. If you're new here, please subscribe.
753.
And everyone, do me a favor.
This is Steve Kane.
Click that like button if you don't mind. Like the video. That means a lot. It helps a lot too. Right? So like the video. There's 123 of you in there. Everybody, if you could go and like the video, that'd be awesome.
But the very first time that I visited the gardens of Boca Raton,
I
could feel my apprehensions vanish. Just knowing that I'd be spending eternity with my family in such magnificent surroundings lifted my spirits. The gardens of Boca Raton is an all-faith, above-ground cemetery with tranquil surroundings, a place where your loved ones can come and visit you time and time again, remembering and celebrating your life. The gardens had caring professionals available to help you in your time of need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pre-need with 0% financing is available and prevents your family from having to deal with these matters at the time of their grief and sorrow. The Gardens of Boca Raton, dedicated to all those who have lived and all those who live today. Let the Gardens take care of your family as they are taking care of my family. Schedule a tour today. Call 877-PLAN-561 or online at thegardens.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the
Here we go. We're coming back.
With 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables.
Well, thank you, Debbie.
Call toll free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show.
Here we go.
The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE 1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE 1. And now.
Alrighty, welcome back, everyone. Hour number 2 has begun. It's 5 minutes after 7 o'clock in the morning. This is Florida's longest running radio show, the Steve Kane Radio Show, on the radio since 1977. My name is Brian Craig. Steve will be joining us in progress a little later. And we'll go back to your phone shortly. I want to bring up a couple of other things into the mix. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's Kane with a K, K-A-N-E, and the number 1. 888-465-2631. This is amazing. The Democrats are in big trouble election-wise. Big trouble. There is a new Gallup survey that it's new to me. This was done a couple weeks back, and I just came across it this morning, and I tweeted this. This is on my Twitter. If you guys want to circulate this to your friends, you should. Gallup does a survey on party affiliation. And this is Gallup, and Gallup is the gold standard when it comes to polling and surveys, right? This is and they've been doing this since 2004, okay? Here's the question. In politics, as of today, do you consider yourself a Republican, a Democrat, or an independent? Get this. Republicans, more people consider themselves to be Republican than Democrat. And this is a new trend. 28% of those polled by Gallup, 28% say they are Republicans. 27% say Democrat. So it's Republicans by 1. This is unheard of. And 42% say they are independent. Now, Gallup has been doing this for many, many years. Okay? So there are more Republicans than Democrats, according to the latest Gallup. So what I'm going to do, I have not done this yet. Not done this yet. And I'll show everybody on YouTube. It's a long list. You guys can see. I'm going to scroll down to find out what this breakdown was. This is from, this survey was done September 14th to the 28th. Okay? There were more Republicans than Democrats by 1. This is unheard of because there's always been, as far as I know, more Democrats than Republicans. I'm going to go back on this list, and I have not done this yet, so these numbers may not be what I want to see. I'm going to go back to September 2016, 4 years ago when Mrs. Clinton was running against Mr. Trump, and find out what the breakdown was there. And I promise you, I've not gone back to look at it. Okay, I've not. I'm going to do it live on the air and share with you my reaction. So Gallup asked the question, in politics as of today, do you consider yourself a Republican, a Democrat, or independent? 28% say Republican, 27% say Democrat. Republicans lead by 1. Independents, 42% identify as independents. I'll talk more about that in a bit. But so that was September 14th through the 28th. Now let me go back to the same period in 2016. Let's see here. They've got the breakdown September 14th through the 18th, 2016. When Crooked Hillary was running against Mr. Trump, this is what it was then. 27% said that they were Republicans, same time in 2016. 32% identified as Democrats. Democrats led by 5 in 2016. Now Republicans lead by 1. That's a 6-point gain. And this, by the way, is a national Gallup survey. Wow. Wow. And independents, 40%. Let me write that down so I don't have to keep scrolling down. I got nothing to write. I'll scroll down. What the heck? That's amazing. So, okay, so the September 2016, 27 to 32, and now we're 28 to 27. That's amazing, and it's all because of Trump. Now, the 42% that are independent, see, here's what's going on, people. I know, that's a shocking, so, all these polls that you're seeing, that's fine, I don't need, all these polls you're seeing, right? They're all lies. Every once in a while, these are called internals. When you get down deep into a lot of these polls and you get into the internals, you start to see things that you may not have heard about before, like this. For Republicans to outnumber people who identify as Democrats is unheard of. Now, I know what a lot of you are saying here. 42% are independents. That number's grown too, because that was 40 back 4 years ago, in 2016. What's happening with a lot of people that walk away, they don't all become Republicans. They become independents. Okay? Because like a lot of us that are Trump people, okay, we're angry at the Republican establishment. Right now, as we speak, staff members for George W. Bush are in television commercials for Biden. So a lot of people walk away from the Democrat Party, but they're disgusted by Republicans or have a memory of Bush and the war or something. So they don't become a Republican, they become an independent, and they still support Trump, see? Now, when I go through this, I'm just scrolling down quickly, and the last time I can clearly see where there were more Republicans than Democrats goes all the way back to 04, January 04. It was 48-46 Republican. And that was during the heated time in the war in Iraq, and George W. Bush had inflated poll numbers because there was a very hot war going on, and in times of war, Americans rally behind their president. You know, the post 9/11 era. So that's a a factor you can't factor into all these things. How can these polls be accurate when for the first time in 16 years there are more people who identify as Republican than Democrat? This is unheard of, and it spells doom for Joe Biden. Okay, so now I know this is shocking stuff. This is shocking stuff. It's good too, isn't it? It's good news because it means people are waking up. This mute button at the debate. Now, I've read several stories on the mute button at the debate. And I have heard specifics and I've heard vague things. Now, I've heard some specifics in a couple of stories that claim that the mute button will only be used during the 2-minute opening statement of each candidate. But most of the stories reporting on it are vague, so far as if that's true or not. And does Christian Welker, the moderator, does she promise to not interrupt the president during his 2 minutes when he's exposing her corruption and Joe Biden's corruption? And they've done two things in the last day to monkey around with this debate. They're in a panic over this debate. They're in a complete panic because of the Biden bombshells that have come out through the laptops. And this is what they've done. They've done two things. The mute button, and it doesn't say who's going to control the mute button. Will Christian Welker have control over the mute button? Will there be an actual button, like that button Matt Lauer used to have to lock the door of his office? Or will it be in the control room somewhere? No one's asked that question. We don't know. But the other thing they've done is they've taken the debate commission took foreign policy off the list of topics. And they took foreign policy off the list of topics for obvious reasons. They think that will stop Trump from getting into the Chinese-Ukrainian scams of Biden. But it was about a week ago that they announced the list of topics, and they told us these topics were handpicked by the moderator herself, Christian Welker. Well, if she picked them herself, how did the debate commission take one away? Well, Donald Trump said yesterday he is going to bring up the Hunter Biden, Joe Biden story, and nothing's going to stop him from doing it. I watched his rally yesterday. Oh, man, what a great rally he had yesterday afternoon. Did you guys see the president's rally yesterday afternoon? He's going to get into all of this, and he knows what I know and what you know. He knows a lot more than we know, doesn't he? He's brilliant. Joe Biden loses his cool every time someone brings up this scam, this scandal. And he can't walk away like he did from the reporters the other day. He can't say, and walk away, get on his private jet and fly away while he's talking about climate change is going to doom the planet. He's got to sit there. And these uninterrupted 2 minutes, as opposed to the president going through his list of accomplishments, which are great, and I would like him to be able to, he needs to take this uninterrupted period to get into the Biden crimes and discredit Kristen Welker. I mean, what the hell is she even doing there? She should be withdrawn from the debate. But can't they find one moderator that's not some Democrat hack? Of course they can, but they don't want to. Yeah, he had 2 rallies yesterday. And I heard on Right Side Broadcasting over the weekend that the last week, President Trump's going to do 5 a day. All right, let's take our first break of the second hour. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Seen the ads on TV and you've heard your friends tell you about MyPillow. MyPillow is guaranteed the most comfortable pillow you will ever own. Right now at MyPillow.com, when you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout, buy one MyPillow, get one for free. But you have to use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com for this incredible offer. Buy one MyPillow, get another one free. Go to MyPillow.com right now. Use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. Hi, Brian Craig here. We've been telling you on the Steve Kane Show, for coronavirus testing, stop by Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs and Any Lab Test Now of Boca. One of our longtime sponsors, Dr. Mitch Matez of the Boca Raton Center for Age Management, went to Any Lab Test Now of Boca for coronavirus testing this weekend, and he called in live on the radio to share his experience.
Listen, Brian, I have a great experience to tell you about. I went to Any Lab Test Now on Saturday to get COVID-19 tested. And it was awesome. We had a little experience where we had somebody in our close circle that tested positive after 10 days, by the way. Went and had a test. It took 10 days to get the results. We all went into a little bit of a panic, obviously. So we called up Any Lab Test Now. It was about maybe 11:30 in the morning on Saturday. They said, come on right on over. I was anonymous. I didn't announce myself. We went over there. We got there about noon. We checked in. 2 minutes later, they took us back, did our test. We sat in the waiting room for less than 15 minutes. They brought us back, gave us our results, which were negative, and we were on our way home. And a little shout out to the nice young lady who did our test. It was completely painless. It was quick, it was simple, it was easy, and it gave you both the IgM and the IgG antibodies, which tells you if you have the infection now or if you've been exposed to it in the past.
Now, you went to Any Lab Test Now of Boca?
Boca Raton, yeah, in the Sandalfoot Plaza.
Awesome.
It was awesome. Well, it really was. It was cool. And it's easy, it's simple, and
no, just see if you're going to be ready at 7:30.
That's the way to go. Forget this 10-day nonsense.
Doctor recommended.
All right,
Can I say that in the commercial now? Doctor recommended Any Lab Test Now of Boca Raton.
There you go.
Okay.
Doctor recommended. Yeah, it was really kind of cool, and it was wonderful, and it was easy. And listen, to that end, go over and get tested. This is the test you want to get. It tells you point blank, did you have it, do you have it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
That's great. So Dr. Mitch Matez personally recommending Any Lab Test Now.
We may be going off sooner because of this.
You heard Dr. Mitch Matez. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is doctor recommended for coronavirus testing. They're located in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is. South
it makes me think he's not going off the radio by his own design.
Give them a call. 561-237-5009.
You know what I mean?
5009. 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located in the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood, over by the Coral Square Mall. Their number, 954-906-5983. Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on The Steve Kane Show.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for
Yeah, and remember, for the $69 price, you've got to mention you heard about them on the radio. So make sure when you send your friends, your family, your coworkers, and your employees in, they mention the radio to get that $69 coronavirus testing. Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Coral Springs. Also, they are open on Saturdays, both locations, if you cannot make it in during the week. Results in 15 minutes or less. So you can stop in during your lunch hour on the way to work, on the way from work. You can, and they give you that certificate you can take to work. And I know a lot of people are getting their children tested because they need to get them back in school. That's you take your kids over there too for that test. Okay, got some updates here, courtesy of Breitbart on the mute. It's worse. It's getting worse here. This is the debate commission it's a bipartisan commission, the Presidential Debate Commission. Bipartisan, yeah. Democrats who hate Trump and Republicans that hate Trump setting up debates to screw Trump. But they do it in a bipartisan way. The commission cited their prior announcement to consider additional structure to future debates following the first debate with Chris Wallace. Okay. Each candidate, listen to this. Each candidate is to have 2 minutes of uninterrupted time to make remarks at the beginning of each 15-minute segment of the debate. These remarks are to be followed by a period of discussion. Both campaigns reaffirm their agreement to the 2-minute uninterrupted rule. The commission is announcing today that in order to enforce this agreed-upon rule, the only candidate whose microphone will be open during these 2-minute periods, see, this is interesting, is the candidate who has the floor under the rules. For the balance of each element, which by design is intended to be dedicated to open discussion, both candidates' microphones will be open. This talk about what lawyer contract law here. This is contract law stuff. But notice they don't say anything about Kristen Welker, who spends Christmas with the Obamas at the White House, and what she can do. It says both campaigns reaffirmed their agreement to the 2-minute uninterrupted rule. In order to enforce this agreed-upon rule, the only candidate whose microphone will be open during these 2-minute periods is the candidate who has the floor, and it'll be at the beginning of each segment. It doesn't say anything about Kristen Welker not interrupting. She needs to have a mute button during that period, too, on her mic. So she can interrupt during the 2 minutes. And guess which one she'll be interrupting? That's right. Donald John Trump, our president. I mean, you got to think about it. Who the hell do they think they are to put a mute on the microphone of the President of the United States? I've never heard of such a thing. I mean, this is, but you know what? He'll still win. He'll still win. When you're good, they can do whatever little tricks they need to pull. He'll still win. They won't be able to cover. But I'll tell you this, she's going to be jumping all over. The 2 minute, they get 2 minutes each at the beginning of each segment, and they've defined what the topic will be. Okay? So what they will do, what Kristen Welker will do, is she'll declare that Trump is off topic and she will interrupt him during his 2 minutes. You'll see. That's what she'll do. And she'll feel justified in doing it because he's breaking the rules. Now, we're about to have a 6-3 Republican Supreme Court. And the left are having a meltdown over this, just a complete meltdown over this. Because, you know, you hear us talk a lot about how John Roberts is compromised. And they only use John Roberts on the big things. John Roberts screwed us again. Listen to this. John Roberts, picked by George W. Bush. Now keep in mind, George W. Bush, he has staffers that are appearing in television commercials for Biden right now. John Roberts sides with liberals in Pennsylvania vote-by-mail battle. The U.S. Supreme Court rejected a Republican application to stay the decision of the Pennsylvania Supreme Court to grant the Democratic Party's request to make several changes to mail-in voting that critics have said is vulnerable to fraud. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled that ballots received 3 days after Election Day, imagine, ballots received 3 days after Election Day will still be counted, even if there is no evidence they were postmarked on time. And Roberts sided with the Democrats on that. See, you know, when we have our 6-3 court, John Roberts, as compromised as he is, it won't matter. See, this is one of the big guns they pulled out here. They don't use him all the time. They let him do the right thing for most of the time. But it's Obamacare, their fraud operation they got planned here in Pennsylvania. That's when they get to him and say, hey, remember. And then he does it. Well, enjoy it because Justice Barrett's going to be up there soon. And we're going to have a 6-3 court. And Roberts won't be able to screw us like this. Now, this whole thing about ballots. Now, what was the exact word? Ballots received 3 days after Election Day. You know, that's also very vague. How will those ballots be received? What if somebody just finds a bag of ballots, like in Chicago, 1960? What if they just find a box of ballots in a basement somewhere? What if somebody just drives up in their car and brings bags of ballots out of the trunk? They did that here in South Florida during our recount. That's happened. Okay? I've seen it happen. We had a election supervisor here in Broward County once, and I don't remember if this was 2000 or the one after. If anybody remembers, and there was some election controversy over her incompetence. It might have been 2000, but it might have been the one right after. I can't remember. And the television news were broadcasting live in front of the supervisor of elections office, and just coincidentally, these two guys pulled up in a cheesy Ford Mustang GT, and got out of this Mustang with bags of ballots and walked in with these bags of ballots. You know, listen, and even if they're not postmarked, like they were mailed on time, if they come through the mail, what they're planning on doing is they have 3 days after the election to make the decision on whether or not they can stuff the ballot boxes enough to steal Pennsylvania from President Trump. On election night 2016, when Florida came in, every county in Florida except Broward reported in. Remember, we talked about this. John King is on CNN. 66 counties in Florida report in. They can't call Florida until Broward County comes in, the big Democrat stronghold. And then finally, after a little bit of time, it finally came in. They were waiting from the call from the Javits Center. Can we stuff them enough and get away with it? No, we can't do it. Okay, they called Broward. Okay, that's when they turned in their ballots. They couldn't do it. And they were under a time crunch because they had to do it that night because every other county did. Now, in Pennsylvania, they've got 3 days. And it doesn't say how the ballots don't have to be postmarked. If they're not postmarked, how do you know they were made before? And, you know, these ballots that come in these 3 days after, I promise you, they'll maybe 100%, if not very close to 100% Democrat. Because whenever they find ballots in basements and churches and boxes that were forgotten, they just always, I don't know what it is about lost ballots that are discovered miraculously after election day. They're always Democrat ballots. I don't, it's amazing. This is scary. And you know what's very frightening about it? Is that they on something as serious as this, determining the outcome of the presidency of the United States, John Roberts is so compromised, he just goes for it, goes with it. What do they got on this guy? Must be pretty rough stuff. Oh, man. Listen, it's Christmas shopping season, and there is no better gift for anyone who's on your gift-giving list than the gift of a MyPillow. My wife and I buy MyPillows for people for Christmas all the time. It's a gift that they remember year after year. The people we've given MyPillows to years ago, they remember because they come with a 10-year warranty. They last forever. And they've got, if you go to mypillow.com, click on the radio listener specials, there's all kinds of great items there that you can buy. The gold standard gift is the buy one get one free MyPillow offer when you use the promo code Kane at checkout. Buy one MyPillow, get a second one free. I have a MyPillow, my wife has a MyPillow, my daughter has a MyPillow, even my dog and my cat sleep on the MyPillow pet beds, which are just $19.99, the MyPillow pet beds, when you use the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout. I got Steve Kane a MyPillow after I had mine. He loves it. He's got two. He's got the regular MyPillow, and he's got the full-length MyPillow body pillow. Normally sells for $89.99, but when you use the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout, that body pillow, you get for just $29.99. And if you go to mypillow.com right now, there's an offer for another $10 off whatever you buy. So you can get that one for $19.99. It's a good deal. The 6-piece MyPillow towel set, buy one set of towels, get a second set free. That's a great gift. You can get two gifts out of that, by the way. You can give a set of MyPillow towels to two people or give one person two sets. It's up to you. There's a lot of other great deals there, too. You've got to use that promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. In fact, my mother's getting a new dog and hasn't come home yet because it had some health issues, unfortunately. She's adopting a rescue animal. But when she gets the dog home, I'm going to buy her one of these MyPillow pet beds, just $19.99 when you use the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout. They make great Christmas gifts. And let me tell you something. If you've got pets, buy one of these. I woke up today, and I had the MyPillow pet bed in my office at home where I do my show prep. And there was my daughter's cat, Sagwa, sound asleep on the MyPillow pet bed. All right, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Steve will be joining us in progress shortly. We'll be right back.
8.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
This is Lori Kane, and I want to tell you about Brighton Dental Care. I just had a lot of work done, and I avoided going to the dentist for a lot of years because I was afraid of the cost. But I went to Brighton Dental for my free consultation, which, by the way, he offers to all Steve Kane listeners. I had 2 cavities, I needed a crown on top and a crown on the bottom. If I were a horse, they would have put me down. So I scheduled my appointment for the next Saturday because Brighton Dental has Saturday appointments available, and they saved me a ton of money. And I will be a patient for life. Don't let cost stop you from taking care of your teeth. Brighton Dental gives Steve Kane listeners incredible discounts on all dental procedures, just like they gave me. Prices are so reasonable, you don't have to worry about the cost. So call Brighton Dental today at 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. You can visit them at brightondental.com and tell them Lori Kane sent you.
Do you want to keep your home and business free from germs and COVID-19? You can with the help of Extreme Germ Busters. Extreme Germ Busters have the most advanced disinfectant delivery system on the planet. It kills 99.9% of germs, as well as viruses, including COVID-19. It's safe, non-toxic, odorless, and EPA approved. It's safe for your home, your office, your car, your doctor's office, restaurants, or anywhere else you want to be safe. Extreme Germ Busters disinfected the entire radio station, the lobby, the studios, the control room, the microphones, the hallway, the elevator, anywhere people have been. And like all Steve Kane Show sponsors, their prices are low.
Yeah, I don't
In
know.
fact,
You
they charge about
What's that?
disinfect
Are you
your
connected?
location.
Okay.
They give you
All
a
right,
completion
great, thanks.
certificate so you can display it in your lobby. And their COVID-19 disinfectants are made right here in the USA. Give them a call right now. 954-69-GERMS. That's 954-694-3767. Online, ExtremeGermBusters.com. That's Extreme, X-T-R-E-M-E. And for you Spanish speakers, they speak Spanish. Help prevent the spread of COVID-19 and germs by keeping your employees, clients, customers, patients, and your family safe. 954-69-GERMS. At noon weekdays, turn your radio to Richard Pearl on Politics. Unfiltered, unapologetic, always controversial. Richard Pearl tells it like it is. No topic is off limits. This is talk radio like it should be. You've known him as a master of nutraceuticals. Now, listen to Richard Pearl as you've never heard him before. Richard Pearl on Politics. High noon weekdays on this radio station. Be there.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
Steve Kane Show.
Just search for WWNN.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. Steve, you with us, Steve? Not quite yet. Okay, we're waiting for Steve. Steve will be joining us in progress shortly. If you're just tuning in, so much going on. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. Let's go to Mike. Mike, you're on the radio.
You're absolutely right with this whole voting by mail thing, you know. What was their biggest argument in 2000? Just the whole Bush v. Gore. Every vote counts.
Well, I remember when in the 2000 recount, which was a coup attempt. You think we had a coup then too? This Trump coup is not the first coup. When they were trying to steal the presidency from George W. Bush, they were trying to discount the Gore camp, the Democrats. They were trying to have uncounted military absentee ballots because they came in like the day after the election, they said. And now they just got a ruling from John Roberts, who sold this out again in Pennsylvania. They've got 3 days after the election to turn the ballots in. After the results are known, they still have 3 days to keep stuffing the boxes. This is insanity.
And look, I'll go back to the 2000 recount. What was the big deal with that? The big deal with that was, the dimple chairs, the hanging chairs, the Chad chairs, and where were they getting these ballots with all these chads that?
Yeah, well, this is what was wrong in 2000. The same thing that was wrong in 2016, and the same thing that's going to be wrong 2 weeks from today. When the Democrats lose, they always cry foul. All right, Mike in Louisiana, appreciate the call. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. If you're just tuning in, lots going on here. Just do a quick recap before we go back to the phones and play some more audio. A new Gallup survey shows that there are more, this is national, new Gallup survey shows there are more Republicans than Democrats for the first time in 16 years, which is huge. Not looking good for Biden, which is good for us. The Judge Napolitano of CNN, the CNN senior analyst Jeffrey Toobin, caught masturbating in front of his coworkers on a Zoom call. Big story today on Drudge. And of course, Michael Savage attacking Rush for sharing with his audience that the cancer is growing. And so we've got a lot on the table here. You with us, Steve? Oh, good morning. What's going on? Oh, yeah.
Disturbing news there. That story about Rush is disheartening.
Well, let me play this clip to you. Did you hear Rush yesterday?
That was the first time I'd heard of it.
Well, let me play this clip. This is Rush yesterday.
It's tough to realize that the days where I do not think I'm under a death sentence are over. Now, we all are, is the point. We all know that we're going to die at some point, but when you have a terminal disease diagnosis that has a time frame to it, then that puts a different psychological and even physical awareness.
Okay, yeah, and he went on. The treatments had stopped the cancer from growing, from spreading, and he just got some news that it's growing again. So it's not good. And
any time frame?
He didn't put a date on it, but it doesn't sound good. And Michael Savage took to Twitter and said this. These are the words of Michael Savage, not me. I don't want anybody to think this is me. This is Michael Savage on Twitter. Limbaugh's crying about his cancer on air. Worst 15 minutes in radio history. Spilled a large coffee all over the counter and floor. I promise my audience this. I will not drag you down with me. Best wishes, Rush. But stop and leave the stage with dignity. I mean, what a jerk. What a jerk. Yeah.
Boycott his show, but unfortunately I don't listen to his show, so it's hard.
Yeah.
hard to boycott something you don't listen to.
Well,
it's jealous. It's disgusting.
Well, look, you know what's it's worse than this example I'm going to give. It's similar, but it's much worse. It's like what Glenn Beck really did long-term permanent damage to himself when he was a Never Trumper 4 years ago. He's never recovered from it, and he was a big star back then, and now he's not really a player like he once was.
It's awful. It's awful.
Yeah, jealous. It's been a jealous person, Michael Savage, and I don't think Savage has it in him to take it back and apologize. I don't think so.
I don't think it would be accepted. I know I wouldn't accept.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, this is what liberals say. This is what
You know, the interesting thing about it, though, it shows the difference between two hosts. The one that it makes you realize the spiritual connection you have with Rush. That he's not just a show you listen to, that he's somebody who, I mean, I'm speaking for myself too, I guess, but I know I'm speaking for millions of other people. And as opposed to somebody like Mike Savage, if we got the same information about Mike Savage, it's, you know, well, that's too bad. That's, you know, we'll miss him, you know, but not the same as Rush. It makes you realize those hosts that you have a real connection to, as opposed to those that the connection is superficial.
Well, the thing with Savage, who's always been bitter and very angry towards Rush and Hannity, even though he's had a lot of success, not just radio-wise, but financial success. He, I feel we have a connection with our listeners here, but I don't think Savage feels a connection with his listeners for some reason. Maybe he has one, maybe he doesn't. But if he had a connection like that with his listeners, he would understand. I think the show has kept Rush going. You can't even tell in that clip he's got lung cancer. He doesn't have children, and sitting at home saying goodbye to everyone for however long you have is a sure way to end things sooner. I think being on the radio has kept Rush going strong.
I don't know. It's awful.
It is awful, and shame on Michael Savage. Well, it's what you'd said this to me last night. It sounds like Savage just got word that he's not going to be the replacement for Rush when he passes on. Yeah. What do you think about this mute button at the debate?
At first, I was really ticked, and then the more I thought about it and listened to some of the shows that were processing it, I think it might end up being a good thing because Rush, I got Rush on the brain. Because I think that the overtalk caused Rush.
You mean Trump? You're choked up over Rush's announcement.
Distracted by it, that's for sure. But anyway, it's probably a good thing because it'll give Biden a chance to hang himself. Rush saved him a couple.
Trump. Well, what they haven't said though, they're going to have the mute on at the beginning of each segment for 2 minutes. But it doesn't say about the moderator. Can the moderator interrupt during those 2 minutes if the person gets off topic? It doesn't say. Yeah. Well, they did it. They did another thing though too. They changed the topics. They took foreign policy off the list of topics.
That's outrageous. I mean, it's an embarrassment. I mean, what? It's outrageous.
Oh, they're trying to rig it.
No kidding. They're putting in all these topics that it's easier for Biden to BS about, and the ones that really would put him on the spot, the questions that we want to hear asked and are not asked, it doesn't give a chance for that to happen. But I'm sure Donald will find.
Oh no, he'll still be victorious. And he said yesterday that he is going to go through the laptop story, and since that's going to be considered off topic, and I don't see Kristen Welker sitting there while Trump spends 2 minutes going through the details of the Biden crimes.
What's going to happen? What do you?
Constant interruptions, nonstop interruptions, claiming he's off topic, even though this is during the free period when they're supposed to be muted. That's what I think will happen.
To Walker, I mean, Biden, hard as it is to believe, can do himself harm in this. If they get too heavy-handed with this debate, it could work against Biden.
Yeah, and yeah.
Story about Roberts.
Oh yeah, John Roberts. They pulled out that manila envelope with whatever they pull out when they need him to betray the American people yesterday. John Roberts sided with the Democrats yesterday. In Pennsylvania, ballots will be counted, received up to 3 days after Election Day, even if they have no. Listen to this, Steve. Even if they have no postmarks on them. That's correct. Yeah, that means that means they can just fill out ballots all day and all night, and then know how many they need after Election Day for 3 days. And by the way, that doesn't mean just by mail. Somebody could show up with a bag of ballots that they found in another basement somewhere and turn them in. Who knows?
I'm sure they will.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, this is why this Supreme Court pick with Justice Barrett is so important, because John Roberts won't be as important as he is right now. You can't trust John Roberts, and they use him on big things, and this is one of the big things, like Obamacare. It's disgusting. It's outrageous. How could he without a postmark? How do you even know when they were mailed, or do they even have to be mailed? What if people just show up with bags and boxes?
All in purpose to all.
Yeah, I can hear it. Yeah. Well, no, yeah. All right, listen, we'll take our last break of the second hour. When we come back, there will be much more to talk about. We'll go back to your phone calls. We've had some great calls this morning. And our overnight listeners, I know a lot of our overnight listeners have been calling overnights. I listen to all those messages, so continue doing that. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's K-A-N-E and the number 1, 888-465-2631. We'll take our break and be right back after this.
When it comes to customer service, nothing beats Ace Hardware Deerfield and BJ's Hardware in Lauderdale by the Sea.
Hi, Brian. This is Dean from Deerfield Beach. I want to thank you and Steve and the fine people over at Ace Hardware. I was the winner of the raffle, and I'm proud to say I have a beautiful new Weber grill. So I want to thank you and let you know that the people over there are the customer service. You will not find better people. People like Steve, Stacy, Bill, and Dan, terrific. So thank you again, and God bless.
Ace Hardware Deerfield is located at 365 South Federal Highway, just south of Hillsborough, on the west side of US 1. BJ's Hardware is located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, Lauderdale by the Sea. And when you stop in, tell Frank, he's the owner, that you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Ace is the place for the helpful hardware, folks.
We have Dr. Mitch Matez, our anti-aging doctor. Dr. Matez, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Brian, I have a little anecdote for you. Yesterday, a very nice woman came in, brought her mother-in-law with her. And this nice young lady that came in was in her early 80s. And she came for a couple of reasons. One was to ask me if she was too old for hormone replacement therapy. And she asked me this, and
Steve Kane Show?
How she
Hey, Doug.
she travels, she goes here.
Oh yeah, I was talking earlier. A way for you guys to support the show, my content that I do, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link in the description of the YouTube video to my Patreon page. There's a direct link on my webpage, BrianCraigShow.com. And if you're a Patreon supporter, not only are you supporting me and my content and my channel here, there's all kinds of perks. You get commercial-free editions of each and every one of my podcast episodes. I do private video chats with Patreon supporters every week. And there's all kinds of stuff we mail out to people, and merch and things like this that you get. And there's other benefits too. But there's a link in the description of the video to my Patreon page. Go check it out. It would be greatly appreciated.
Out there wondering, maybe I'm just too old for this, you will realize that you're never too old.
Yeah, that's right. Listen, hormone replacement pellet therapy, it works. I know it because I'm a patient of Dr. Matez. It does everything he says, and when you experience it, it'll be an incredible experience like you have never experienced before. And that tired of being tired, I imagine a lot of your patients say that, Dr. Matez. Give him a call, Dr. Matez. It's a free consultation if you mention the Steve Kane Show. 561-953-5490. And it's not unusual for people to do what happened with this new patient of yours. Family members bring in family members all the time. 561-953-5490. All right, Dr. Matez, we will talk later in the week.
We will, Brian. Have a lovely day here in paradise.
All right.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, we are back. This I was talking about this earlier, Steve. This new Gallup survey came out, and for the first time in 16 years, Republican voters outnumber Democrat voters. It's only by 1 point, but back in 2016, Democrats outnumbered Republicans by 5. And that's a national poll. So that's a gain of 6 for Republican voters nationwide. And that's some great news.
In the last 2 weeks, we're going to start getting some polls with questions other than just, the head-to-head numbers. And we're going to start getting a feeling from the polls. They do sort of start to get in line the closer you get to the end. And
yeah.
I think nobody ever stops to think that when they talk about these people who are registered as Democrats, because they're registered as Democrats does not mean that they're necessarily not going to vote for Trump.
That's correct. Yeah.
They say a lot of the surveys they do on sites at the appearances. They do a lot of surveys there, and a lot of the people that go to the speeches, a lot of them are.
Yeah, a lot of Democrats go to the rallies. Yeah, I mean, and yesterday, I know this seems like a strange endorsement, but 50 Cent. How do you say it? 50 Cent? 50 Cent. I don't know. I can't talk that way, but his endorsement of President Trump yesterday over his opposition to the Biden tax proposal is pretty significant. Yesterday, Lindsey Graham was at the airport, and he was met by these Handmaid's Tale ladies about the Coney Barrett. Did you see this video? Let me play this for you. This is hilarious. Okay, now this is Lindsey Graham yesterday at the airport. Two of these Handmaid's Tale ladies show up, opposed to the confirmation of Justice Barrett.
Look me in the eye.
Where are you from?
I'm from Seattle, Washington, and I'm not here to talk to you. I'm not here to talk to anybody.
Why
who will
does it
listen.
matter where she's from? She's an American.
Well, I think Seattle's a good example about things that got out of control.
Sir, you're an example of how things are getting out of control, sir. You work for me, sir. I pay your salary, sir.
Where are you from?
It doesn't matter where I'm from. I'm from the United States of America, sir. Where are you from?
South Carolina.
You sure are. And you're gonna make my children, my daughter, who stood on the shoulders of giants, you're gonna take her rights away by voting for this woman who's a racist?
Well, I'm enthusiastically going to support Joe.
Why?
Because she's highly qualified.
She's not.
Oh my goodness, these women, they need boyfriends, they need men. Oh, desperately. Yeah, they don't know it, but they need men. This woman's very concerned that her daughter in the future will not be able to get an abortion. No, I don't think so either. I mean, oh my goodness, they're having meltdowns. They're very upset. All right, let's go back to. Well, the reason he was asking them where he was from is he's running for re-election in South Carolina, and if you're one of his constituents, he'll give you more time, I guess, than if you're from Seattle. I think they're both from Seattle. Because the other one didn't want to say where she was. Look me in the eye. Look me in the eye. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right, our number toll free 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning, conservative gentlemen.
Good morning, Joe.
Good morning. I heard Lou Dobbs said something pretty good yesterday. He said, think about all the people who voted already that voted Democrat, who would have not voted for Biden if he knew he was a criminal with his son's laptop. This early voting is really something that I think is not very good for our country. We should all be going to the poll, vote that one day, and that should be it. Now, if you're in the military, that's okay. But this is ridiculous. Now, Roberts are going to allow people to vote 3 days after the election?
Well, the ballots, non-postmarked ballots will be counted up to 3 days after Election Day in Pennsylvania. So on Election Day, you know how much Trump won by in Pennsylvania. You know how many votes you need for Biden to win, so you have 3 days to get him. Exactly. What's the purpose of the Election Day?
It's a rerun of the who's the guy that...
Al Franken.
Pretty much. It's a rerun of the Al Franken thing. Every day, after the election was over, more votes showed up, and they kept counting votes, and votes were showing up at a rate of about 100 votes a day until they got to the total they needed, and then they stopped counting.
Yeah, but then again, they're all saying Russia, Russia, Russia. And Russia's supposed to be so...
Well, it's interesting you bring that up. I don't watch The Five too much because I cannot stand Juan Williams. He's just detestable to me. I don't like him. No, but I did watch yesterday, and he was going on how this Hunter Biden laptop story is Russian intelligence, right? And I'm thinking, and this is what I was wondering about Juan Williams. Do they give him a script? Does he really believe that, or is he like an actor who plays a part?
So that's it. There were talking points. All he'll do is there'll be a breaking story.
Yeah.
He'll listen to it. It'll contain the talking points, and then he knows what he's got to say from there on. Not just one, all of the liberal.
But there are talking points, and then there's a moment where you just look like a fool. And to sit around, and we all know what happened. They even got a receipt with Hunter's signature on it now from the computer shop. To talk about a Russian intelligence hack when we got the computer guy at the shop with the laptops and everything else. It's just strange. It's just strange that he would sit there and say something so absurd. I mean, it was like watching Adam Schiff.
Well, he gets paid to look foolish. What can I tell you?
Well, boy, if he's getting paid to look foolish, what a miserable way to make a living. Because
he's doing a good job, though. He's doing a good job.
All right, appreciate the call, Doug. Beckel, when Bob Beckel was on the Five, I didn't mind it because he was, he was credible. Because if he disagreed, he would say, "No, I don't know." Juan Williams is Russia, 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 nonstop. It's not. There's no credibility at all with him.
Marsha.
Steve Kane? Yeah, exactly. Marsha. Did I say Marsha, or are you saying Marsha? Okay. I'm questioning my sanity here. I thought I might have said Marsha. I know, I get it. Marsha. Brady. No, I got the joke. I just thought maybe I misspoke. The Judge Napolitano of CNN, the CNN senior legal analyst, caught masturbating in front of his employees on this Zoom video. Oh, my goodness. Well, you know how people are, especially in New York City, they're working from home. He's with the New Yorker magazine, and he was in a video meeting with the senior staff of the New Yorker magazine, and during the meeting, the camera that he was using on him went down to his crotch. He took out his penis and started masturbating in front of his coworkers. He thought that he had the camera off and his microphone off. He thought he could see them, but they couldn't see him, and he masturbated to completion, apparently, according to the New York Post. Yeah. And then when he was done, he came back to the meeting like nothing had happened.
Any word?
The New Yorker has suspended him, and CNN says that Jeffrey Toobin has requested time off, which they've granted. But I know it's not all that newsworthy. It's just, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
I mean, it shows you how whacked out. Pardon the pun.
Yeah.
It shows you how whacked out these people are.
Yeah. See, what my guess would be is there was a woman in this meeting that he's attracted to, and he was masturbating to one of the women in the meeting that he works with at the New Yorker. Would be my guess of what he was doing. It's so strange. And then, he just went back to the meeting like nothing had happened. I'm surprised video hasn't been released of it yet. Somebody must have video of it. Leak it. Yeah, leak it. Somebody will have it and leak it. People leak stuff all the time. You don't know what he looks like. You can't remember who he is because you don't watch CNN. You don't know who he is. He's a short little fat guy. The last guy you want to see naked, I'll tell you that. Nobody wants to see Jeffrey Toobin naked. But, how embarrassing. Could you imagine if that happened in Napolitano, the Fox News equivalent? Oh, my goodness.
Isn't this interfering with his right of privacy?
Well, or perhaps even his sexual preference. Right? He was born this way.
Love.
He was just born this way. Yeah, that's right. Him and Anthony Weiner. We can't judge people based on these things any longer. Yeah.
It's just not fair.
My favorite part is how he went back to the meeting like nothing had happened. They must have been like, what the hell? I haven't seen any reporting on what they were doing while he was... Yeah, and listening. Yeah. There's no... Well, he was at home. Because it was on video. He was in the privacy of his own home. One person in the meeting told the New York Post the camera was on his face, and then all of a sudden the camera moved down to his crotch. He undid his pants and took out his penis and did what he did. There was no word on how long it took.
All right, I've had enough.
I know. All right, listen, we'll take our break for the top of the hour. 1 hour to go. We'll go back to the phones after the break. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
85.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Seniors, open enrollment is here. I Will Advisors is here to offer you an unbiased comparison of all your Medicare health insurance options. I Will Advisors.
Who knows, Rob? Maybe it was on purpose.
Medicare
Maybe he's that far out.
On every available option to ensure you make the right choice for your needs. Call us directly at 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Hey.
Brian Craig here. You've heard us talk about the great low prices Friendly Tire has on new tires and used tires. They also do tire repairs. Listen to one of our listeners talk about their experience at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Hey Brian, my name is Mike. Just wanted to call and say thank you. I had a problem with my car. I had a flat tire. It was going down really quick. I'm in Coral Springs. I had to go somewhere close by. They couldn't really fix it. So I remember you guys are talking about Friendly Mike at Friendly Tires. So I said, listen, Mike, I need a couple of tires. I told him my size. He goes, I got them. I go, I'll see you tomorrow. They were really cheap. I go over there, and Mike said, which tires do you want to replace? They look relatively new. I said, they are. I just got a big hole in that one. And they said they couldn't be fixed. He goes, pull your vehicle in. I pulled the vehicle in. He took the tire off. He pulled out the plug that the guy in Coral Springs put in there, and he heat shielded it. He kind of patched it or whatever they call it. I don't know what they call it. And he goes, you don't need any tires. He goes, I fixed that one. Give me $20. But the guy in Coral Springs wanted $500 for 2 tires. I just wanted to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day.
Give Mike at Friendly Tire a call right now. We'll give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Don't waste time going anywhere else. You will never find prices as low as Friendly Tire in Margate.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate.
I know, that's Jeffrey Toobin's story is crazy.
9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables.
Savage should be ashamed.
1-855-FLA-3782.
No, it looks like a rainy day in Florida.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-CANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-CANE-1. And now, here.
All right, third and final hour has begun. This is the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Steve here with us. Oh, man. Have you got a new dog yet, Steve? By the way, you were talking to me about that the other day. Why? Oh, I got one. Because this is what, like, all of the dogs we get are always rescue dogs, you know? And we always get adult dogs because everybody wants puppies, you know? And like our dog we have now, Nina, she's about 12. But when we got her, she was like 2 or 3. She was housebroken. First thing she did was go to the back door to go outside when we got home. You get one that's already housebroken. You get a rescue animal.
It would be a great scenario, except I'm
Steve
one
Kane
of
Show.
those insensitive clods that wants a puppy. And I actually want to know something in my entire life, and I've owned a lot of dogs in my lifetime. I have never gotten a dog that was not a puppy, or maybe a few months.
Well, break the tradition, like when you started adopting black children. You know what I mean? Break the tradition. It'll be much calmer, much cool. Like my mom's getting a new dog this week. She's getting a dog about 3-4 years old. Housebroken. Everything's cool. They don't chew anything and all that. You know what I mean? When you get that, so that's what you do. That's what you do. All right, let's.
Definitely an option.
I told you, if you get a new dog, I'll buy you the My Pillow pet bed. I'll use your name, Kane, to get the discount, but I'll still buy it for you if you get a new dog. All right, let's go. Let's go to the phones. I'm trying to give you an incentive. You're on the. Yeah, you're on the radio. Good morning. What's your name?
My name's Nick, Coral Springs.
Yeah, Nick.
Hey, Nick. What's up?
Good morning. Yes, I'd like to talk about the Savage Rush Limbaugh thing. I've called before about Michael Savage because I actually like him a lot. To be honest with you, your show, his show, and Tucker are the three. You guys are not afraid to push the envelope on anything. Those are the best shows because you talk about every tough subject. As far as his comments toward Rush, okay, I've been listening to him, his podcast. He's on 3 days a week for an hour. He's basically he's alluded to the fact he can't discuss why he's leaving radio. He's getting squeezed out, essentially. And he said it's because of two major, I think it's because of Rush Limbaugh and Hannity and the powers above them that control all of the media.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
What do you believe? Well, wait. Let's see.
Yeah.
What is it you say you believe?
I think that
the powers that be. This sounds like paranoia.
No, I mean, he said that they squeezed him out basically and got him down to an hour a day for radio. He said he used to be on all. He said this on air. He said he was on all of the South Florida radio stations, which he was. He said they got him off all those. He said it's because of a couple people that are squeezing him out. And he alluded toward who they were, but he can't name the names. And I think one of them was Rush Limbaugh.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. No way.
Do you believe? Why would Rush be interested? Why would Rush even be concerned with Michael Savage?
I don't like that.
Rush is so much more successful than Michael Savage, for good reason, by the way. I don't know. What do you think? You think that Mike Savage is in a class with Rush Limbaugh?
I think he's 10 times better than Rush Limbaugh, in my opinion, because he's not afraid to tell
really
the envelope. Rush Limbaugh, he wasn't even on Trump's side at the beginning. He was straddling the fence right down the middle the whole way. Okay, he never.
You know this thing. Oh, so can we? I want to talk about this conspiracy. Okay, I like Michael Savage's radio show. Okay, I think it's good. I agree with some of what you're saying about it. It's, but this conspiracy is nonsense. This is what I would take from that. Savage had his great success as a nighttime talk show host. He decided he was going to be an afternoon drive host. There's more competition in afternoon drive than at night. And what's happening is his syndicator are trying to get him on stations that already have Hannity on in the afternoon, for example. Things like this. That's not them trying to squeeze him out. It's just he made a bad business decision. And he's a big name. He could continue on radio 3 hours a day if he wanted to, in a reduced capacity if he had to do it. So I don't buy any of that, and I've never heard anyone say. Now there is evidence that Hannity got rid of Combs. I think Hannity pushed Alan Combs off the TV show, but I've never heard any. He wanted his own show. Yeah, I have never, and let me tell you, Rush has been around for a long time. Steve worked with Rush in New York. I have never heard anybody in the radio business say that Rush Limbaugh did anything to harm anyone's career at any level. I've never heard such a thing, and he's dying of cancer. He's got bigger things to worry about.
Okay.
First of all, why would Rush be interested in care whether Savage was on the air or not?
Only reason I can think of is if you looked at Michael Savage's ratings, even over since when Trump was first running and everything, he was on in the afternoon down here, for instance. If you look at his ratings, they were always at the top. He had like one of the highest, and I think that they saw that. I think he was competition for whoever.
Oh no.
I think.
Do you think? Hold on? But you, as a listener, you really think that Michael Savage represents serious competition to Rush?
In a different time slot, mind you.
Let me ask you. I mean, if you had to listen to one of them, let's figure this out together. Let's brainstorm. If you had to listen to one of the two shows, if they were on opposite each other, who do you listen to?
I would listen to Michael Savage in 2 seconds.
Well, then let me tell you, stand up and be proud. You are in a minority. Trust me, you're in a minority, because 3/4 of the people that are regular radio chronics that listen all the time to all the shows, faced with that choice, I can promise you that Rush comes out ahead.
Caller, they're on in different. They're not competition. They're in different time slots. He's not. That makes no sense.
Or exactly, Brian. But I mean, let me ask you a question. Don't you think that Rush Limbaugh would be more in line, like with a Hannity type, versus like a Tucker? Tucker, you guys both said you like Tucker 10 times better than Hannity. You say Hannity's kind of
absolutely
vanilla. That's the same thing that Rush is, though.
No, let me tell you. Okay, I don't listen to Rush often because the time of day, it's not my radio time. But when I do, Rush Limbaugh, what Hannity does is just generic nothing. Rush Limbaugh does different thing than we do here. He's not in the confrontation, but he gives very unique insight and analysis of issues that I don't hear others give. And that's some pretty sharp stuff, even going through this cancer business that he's going through. But Michael Savage has always been angry and very jealous of Hannity and Rush.
I'm telling you, this is going to come out. You're going to see in January.
Well, okay, I'll be looking forward to that.
Go ahead.
Okay, here's the thing. Your show, Tucker's show, and a show like Michael Savage, they will bring new listeners, they will bring new people over to the side of a Republican or conservative side based on their content, because the way they explain things is very colorful. Somebody like Rush is only going to get diehard Republicans.
Why do you think he won't, if he's going off the air, Savage, and all this, why is he keeping these things secret? Why not go public?
He said on his show, he said he can't discuss it due to legal reasons until he's
you buy that
out of his contract. Listen, he's great. I mean, he exposes so much stuff, just like...
I'm not just... No. Listen, I like Savage's show, okay? And I agree, I do like his style of talk. But he's a bitter, jealous man who, even though he has had a lot of success, both career and financial, he always feels slighted by everybody in the industry because he doesn't feel that he feels he's number one and he shouldn't be some third-rate banana compared to the big syndicated guys.
He comes off like Ebenezer Scrooge.
And it's not an act.
I know, but you don't have to... He's kind of safe. He's like I said, he's exposed so much stuff on his show.
For example, what does he expose that no one else has talked about?
All kinds of things, like just like with Tucker, when he talks about Facebook and Google, nobody even...
Well, okay, wait, stop. 1 second. I have to jump in here. Even put
He's a narcissist.
Tucker, even to discuss Tucker in the same context as to discuss Michael Savage is just, it doesn't compute. Tucker is great at what he does. Tucker gets real insights. Tucker exposes real things. And Tucker is good at one-on-one back and forth, which Savage is not. Savage runs like hell. If he gets somebody going after him, he'll end the call. He's not good at one-on-one debate. No, you're talking about, when you talk about Tucker, in my opinion, you're talking about next to...
Yeah. You know, talk radio. A lot of people don't realize this, but talk radio is an art form, and what Tucker does is like what talk radio is about. You know, and Michael Savage is, Michael Savage is not an artist. He's just a guy who's very bitter, a narcissist who screams a lot. All of us do. All of us do.
I'm going to start measuring talent. We're going to start measuring talent by how many death threats you get.
We all get those.
He'll tackle anything. He'll tackle.
Look what happened with the governor of Michigan. Does that give her credibility? Listen, we all get threats, and things happen to all of us. Okay, but some apparently like to brag about it to give them credibility.
You're wrong about Savage having courage. I'll be listening to Savage, and somebody will call in and go after him, and Savage will pick a pretext within about 15 seconds to snap it.
For example, this call. You're a great caller, and you've challenged us both. If someone called Savage today and challenged him like you're challenging me and Steve, he'd be gone 10 seconds.
I agree with that, Brian. You're 100% right, and Steve.
That's a pretty big flaw, though.
Well, but his content is like so good, though, that it just is. He has
Steve
so
Kane
many good
Show.
things that he brings out that we don't even know about.
Hey.
Let me ask one in closing. By the way, I agree with Brian. You're an excellent caller, and I hope you'll call. But what's your first name again? You gave
Nick.
What's your name? What is it?
Nick.
Nick.
Yes.
Do you really put Mike Savage in the same class as Tucker?
Yes, I do.
Ooh. Wow. Well, listen, there are people that are in a class of all on their own, and one of those, of course, is attorney Barry Siegel, who's in a class of attorney that is above all the rest. Attorney Barry Siegel, welcome to the program.
Good morning. How are you, Brian?
Oh, we're doing great over here. How are you?
Good morning, Steve. Good to hear your voice. I'm doing well, and the saying that we have on our website and on our business card and on all our materials is that we provide protection for your loved ones and peace of mind for you. And it's really about peace of mind. So, so anybody listening there, what I would ask you is, do you feel like you have peace of mind with your current planning? Do you have peace of mind that your family will avoid the horrible process of probate should anything happen to you? Do you feel confident that all the right people are in place to make decisions should you become incapacitated or pass away? Are you have the peace of mind that you have the right people named as beneficiaries and the wrong ones out? You have the peace of mind that their inheritance is going to be protected from lawsuits, divorces, and creditors? And you have peace of mind that your estate won't dwindle down if you or your spouse happen to become ill and need care, in case you don't have enough long-term care insurance. If you don't have peace of mind on all of those things, then you should be calling us for a free consultation.
Absolutely. And Attorney Barry Siegel's number is toll-free, 1-855-FLA-ESTATE, 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Barry Siegel, we will talk later in the week. All right, you too. Take care. Attorney Barry Siegel. Let's go right back to the phone, Steve. We've got PJ on the line. Hey, PJ.
Oh, hey, Brian. Say, what do you think about the idea of President Trump on Thursday announcing that he's pulling out of the debate because, you know, they changed. You know what? I mean, I'm pretty sure that if he brings up about Hunter Biden's laptop, they're gonna use that mute button on him.
That's great. See, this is the thing. The attempted suppression of the laptop story with Biden has given it more credibility than you could imagine. And if they pull that on the President of the United States during a live debate, he wins.
So you're saying he should go on it?
Absolutely. Don't you get it, PJ? They're trying to get him to drop out. But
let me ask you this, PJ. Why do you think he's doing it? After they changed the rules on him, why do you think he agreed to do it?
because he's going to bring up. He wants to use as a forum to bring up the
he's doing it. He's doing it because he knows he's going to win big, regardless.
Yeah, but
he can't make up. They can't make up for the discrepancy between Biden and Trump with any kind of phony tricks at the debate. They can't do it.
Yeah,
Russia's going to win. Russia's. Gee whiz. I got to get Russia off my mind here. I got Russia on the brain. Every time I want to say Biden, I'm saying Rush. Oh.
Yeah, but listen. Listen. The thing is, we in the audience, we won't actually hear him talking about the laptop because all we'll see is just his lip.
No, that's not true. The way mics work, even with directional mics, the other mics will pick up some of it, and it'll be obvious what's going on.
Happens between the two of them when they're on stage. It's the processing of it afterwards.
Yeah.
It's going to give them material that Rush.
You're really broken up over Rush. I didn't realize how close it was to your. Yeah. This is unusual for you. A lot of people that you've known have passed. I've never seen you so upset. This one hasn't even happened yet. And it's tough.
Say without Rush.
PJ, look at what they've done this week, right? Look at what they've done this week. Biden's gone into hiding. Kamala's off the trail with some corona BS. They got the mute button in. They took foreign policy off. They're terrified of this debate on Thursday. Why would Trump not attend? They're doing everything they can to avoid it.
But how do they justify taking foreign policy off, other than the fact that Joe knows that he'll get creamed in a foreign policy discussion? How do they justify taking foreign policy off the table?
Yeah, but here's the thing: if Trump were to pull out on Thursday, then guess what? All this whole week, Biden has been taking a lid days every day. It was all for nothing.
We don't want a president who, in 2016 they tried to monkey. Remember, he came out with one debate with Hillary, and they had the podium microphone too low, so he had to bend down to talk. And he won that debate too. Listen, when you've got right on your side and you've got skill like Trump, even if they had him muted for the whole 90 minutes, he'd win.
People are not stupid. The people understand what's going on here.
Yeah, you know who must feel like it must feel like the biggest schmo on the planet. It has to be that Steve Scully, because he was sort of barely on my horizon for years. I just knew him as the guy that was like took phone calls on CNN, C-SPAN rather. So finally, his big day is coming, and he completely blows it.
He destroyed his career. Yeah, a lot of people they're trying to get Trump to quit, to drop out. He's not a quitter. This president's not a quitter. Why would he drop out?
They're up the creek no matter what happens.
They're terrified.
It's going to hurt him.
Biden? You're talking about Biden? Yeah.
No good outcome for Biden.
None. And they're...
Imagine in my wildest dreams a scenario where Biden even breaks even on that debate.
And the moderator, she's terrified too, because Trump's been talking about her Obama Christmas connections. He was talking about this yesterday all over Twitter and at the rallies. Oh, yeah.
Let me ask you this. Caller, are you still there, caller?
No, PJ's gone. You say goodbye to him. Yeah.
Well, the bottom line is try to create an imaginary scenario where Trump doesn't look better at the end of that debate than Biden.
Oh, yeah.
Going to be able to do it.
I mean, Biden's in hiding all week. He's trying to, for the big, hiding Biden, basement Biden, Pops. He's in the basement all week because he's afraid of this question. Pops Biden. Doesn't get better than that. No. I want to remind everyone, this is very important, Steve. I was transitioning to a spot. Yeah, big guy's good one. Big guy. The big guy was actually Art Carlson on WKRP in Cincinnati, the station manager. They called him the big guy. Now, I want to remind everyone, any lab test now of Boca, any lab test now of Coral Springs, they have $69 COVID testing. They have the rapid test, 15 minutes or less. For that $69 price, you have to mention you heard about them on the radio. So when you send in your friends, co-workers, family, your employees, they have to mention the radio to get that $69 price. They are open on Saturdays. Any lab test now of Boca and Coral Springs. There's lots of any lab test nows, but these are the only two locations that are advertising on the Steve Kane Show, all right? And also the only locations offering these incredible prices for the rapid COVID testing. They also have the antibody test and the special test that you need if you're traveling outside the country. They have all those tests, great deals. Mention the radio for the $69 COVID testing. You know, this debate on Thursday, I was mentioning this to you yesterday, Steve. Chris Wallace, it will be stained by his performance. Steve Scully destroyed his career. Those are the first two moderators. And the third one, this woman here, she's been exposed with these Democrat donation ties, which she does not like that being known publicly. She wants to act as if she's some independently minded journalist. Every one of these moderators that's gone up against Trump has been damaged. That's how popular Trump is. It's a lot of it's due to his popularity. And she's more afraid than Biden of this debate because of Trump bringing out her Democrat family donor. Her family's donated to Biden. What the hell is she doing moderating the debate? You know?
That too. Because he doesn't know for sure exactly what to expect from Trump. And Trump's going to do a number on him.
Oh, Trump said yesterday he's going to go through the whole thing. And I think that the mute button will be used then. They'll claim he's off topic.
Mix of people. I trust Trump with his mic off better than if I was making a morning line on who is better, who would be most likely to come out on top. I take.
You know, oh yeah, I don't worry about Trump. You know, I don't worry about Trump. You know what I wonder? For the way they have this debate set up, NBC and Kristen Welker, the moderator, do they really think Trump's going to come out looking bad in this debate because they took the foreign policy off, they got the mute button? Do they really think that Biden's going to come out on top or as a draw against Trump with these things they've put in place?
Little pitfall that Trump has to avoid, and that is not attacking the sun.
Correct. Yeah.
Attack. He's got to make Biden the object of the attack, because if he starts beating up
Hunter. Yeah.
He's going to lose sympathy.
Well, Hunter is a victim. A Hunter is a victim of his father.
But Rush can't let that happen.
Trump. Well, Trump likes to say, "Where's Hunter?" a lot. He says, "Where's Hunter? Where's Hunter?" Yeah, so I imagine we're going to be hearing that. But Hunter is a victim of his father's criminal enterprise. You know what he's like, Joe Biden? He's like Jack Nicholson in that movie, The Departed, where he had all these guys he took under his wing and got them in to do all of his dirty work in the police department. It's a great movie, by the way, The Departed. He's a mob boss, and that's what it is. And you know, it's an interesting thing, Steve. I haven't heard anything like this happening with Biden from all those years in the Senate. It was like he set up this shop when he became vice president.
A lot that we don't even know about.
Yeah. All right, listen, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. On the radio since 1977. Back with more of your calls after this break. The number toll free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-GO-KANE-1. That's Kane with a K. K-A-N-E and the number 1. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Do you want to keep your home and business free from germs and COVID-19? You can with the help of Extreme Germ Busters. Extreme Germ Busters have the most advanced disinfectant delivery system on the planet. It kills 99.9% of germs, as well as viruses, including COVID-19. It's safe, non-toxic, odorless, and EPA approved. It's safe for your home, your office, your car, your doctor's office, restaurants, or anywhere else you want to be safe. Extreme Germ Busters disinfected the entire radio station, the lobby, the studios, the control room, the microphones, the hallway, the elevator, anywhere people have been. And like all Steve Kane Show sponsors, their prices are low. In fact, they charge about half of what the other companies charge. After they disinfect your location, they give you a completion certificate so you can display it in your lobby. And their COVID-19 disinfectants are made right here in the USA. Give them a call right now, 954-69-GERMS. That's 954-694-3767. Online, extremegermbusters.com. That's Extreme, X-T-R-E-M-E. And for you Spanish speakers, they speak Spanish. Help prevent the spread of COVID-19 and germs by keeping your employees, clients, customers, patients, and your family safe. 954-69-GERMS.
The Medicare open enrollment period is here. Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080. 954-753.
Hey, has everybody liked the video and subscribed? If you haven't, please like the video and subscribe.
And cost considerations. I Will Advisors represents all major insurance companies, not just a single carrier, so they will make sure you choose the best option for you. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors at 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
At noon weekdays, turn your radio to Richard Pearl on Politics. Unfiltered, unapologetic, always controversial. Richard Pearl tells it like it is. No topic is off limits. This is talk radio like it should be. You've known him as a master of nutraceuticals. Now, listen to Richard Pearl as you've never heard him before. Richard Pearl on Politics. High noon weekdays on this radio station. Be there.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, and here he is, Richard Pearl. Hey, Richard Pearl, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you guys?
We're great. Yeah, we're great. We're wonderful. We're always great.
Okay, good. A couple things. I espouse certain points about the virus, that, the masks aren't that valid, and that the vaccines are ridiculous in the sense that they haven't isolated the virus yet. So how do you make a vaccine for it, especially when we've never made an RNA vaccine for any virus, including AIDS? So I had some FEMA people in last night, and I've had them in before. I've even helped some who've had some health issues where I've had to mail products and they all got better. But I had some FEMA people in last night, and they agreed with virtually everything I said, except they're not for President Trump. They're for the Communist Party, I guess. But outside of that, they're lovely people. And they're admitting that most of the numbers that are out there are not showing excess death, and that everything that's being said with the cases are not giving perspective. So when they say, well, cases are up 300%, they don't give you a number. So is that 1 to 3, or is that 1,000 to 3,000? But when they don't give you statistics on to how many new cases, what you can extrapolate from that is they're just giving you a percentage on very low numbers. And when people aren't dying, and when people are not, there's not an excess death rate, when the death rate is lower than it was in 2017 from all causes, week to week to week to week, then you have to realize that all these numbers are incorporating other people's deaths.
Yeah.
There are things. But if you take the supplements,
well, thank you. Make sure you subscribe, guys.
Come to Simply Natural. I have them all. You'll help improve your immune system so that you'll be more impervious to all kinds.
That's right. And, Simply Natural is located in Sunrise, open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. to 9. And when people stop in, Richard Pearl is available for consultation. So, he's an expert at what he does. The number over there, 954-741-4045. And again, located in Sunrise, just north of Sunset Strip on the east side of University Drive. And catch Richard Pearl's show, Richard Pearl on Politics, on this radio station, weekdays at high noon. All right, Richard Pearl, we'll talk tomorrow. Oh, we won't miss it. Noontime. All right, and so much is going on, Steve, right now. Did you catch any of Trump's rallies yesterday?
Yeah, I catch all his rallies.
Oh man, did he look like a guy that had a worry in the world yesterday?
I mean, the amazing thing about Trump is how fresh his material is. If you try to speak for an hour straight, 3 times a day or 4 times a day, and keep the material fresh.
Yeah. Well, and he's always newsworthy. He talks about the issues in the news that day.
Which is the other part of his...
And he's loved. I loved him. Did you see the exchange that he had with the reporter that he called a criminal? Oh, let me play this. Now, that noise in the background, he likes to talk to the reporters on the tarmac by the jet engines, just to humiliate them a little bit. But this reporter asks President Trump, it seems you've based your whole campaign of calling Joe Biden a criminal. Why are you doing that, the reporter asks.
The strategy seems to be to call Biden a criminal. Why is that?
He is a criminal. He's a criminal. He got caught, read his laptop, and you know who's a criminal? You're a criminal for not reporting it. You are a criminal for not reporting it. Let me tell you something. Joe Biden is a criminal, and he's been a criminal for a long time, and you're a criminal in the media for not reporting it. Good luck, everybody. Have a good time.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's... Oh. Oh, yeah, an accessory. That's a good one, yeah. Accessory after the fact. We'll get Jeffrey Toobin to analyze that legally when he's done masturbating over there on Zoom.
Has the dubious honor this morning of being featured on today's New York Post.
Yeah, that story. Yeah, they got a great story there in the New York Post about Jeffrey Toobin. Oh, what a whack job. Literally. Yeah. No, that was intended. But that was intended. That was not an accident. But who? Oh my goodness, how embarrassing! Really, how embarrassing for CNN, the Clinton News Network. But this. It's amazing to me. This little exchange with Trump yesterday with that liberal reporter. I don't know who that reporter was with. They're all wearing masks. It's hard to tell sometimes. But when he asked that question, he thought he had Trump, right? He thought, and what he did was that soundbite's making the rounds everywhere. I first heard it. I didn't see it live. I actually picked it up off the 5 yesterday when I was listening to the 5, and then that's when Juan Williams went into the, Russian intelligence operation. But that reporter, when he asked Trump that question, it didn't even occur to him that he was covering up a major news story. He thinks the scandal is Trump talking about it. That reporter really believes that, or he wouldn't have asked the question. He would, yeah.
Right,
Steve Kane
exactly
Show.
Right.
So there's the Trump derangement syndrome is definitely strong among the press corps. Good morning. You're on the radio. That's right. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning, Brian and Steve. It's Tony from Boston.
Oh, long time no hear, Tony.
Yeah, I was there in April, but I had to come back because of the shutdown and all that stuff, and so I'll be back down there on November 4th. So I'll be there either with a hangover and sorrow, I'll be there with a hangover and glee, but I suspect the latter. Listen, guys, let me see if I can help you out, at least you, Steve, in particular, as far as this Pennsylvania thing goes. Trump won the electoral vote. Total count for him in 2016 was 306 to Hillary's 232. Even if they were to, assuming Trump gets all the states that he did win back then, even if they were still Pennsylvania, that's just 20 electoral votes. That would give Joe Biden 242. Trump still wins with 286 or 280 votes. So I'm not necessarily worried about it. No, we don't want any election tampering, but that's utopia, or utopian rather. I'm hopeful that he'll win Pennsylvania. I believe the turnout's going to be very huge. I'm actually voting on November 3rd. That's why I remain here in Massachusetts so that I can vote because I'm registered here. And then I'll what?
Well, you know, Brian Stelter, you know, the CNN, George Costanza over there on CNN. He looks like George Costanza. He just tweeted this out. Trump is attacking the moderator, attacking the debate commission, complaining about topics, but he's committing to attend Thursday's presidential debate with Biden. So we now know what the next few days of political news will revolve around. Well, the moderator is a Democrat donor, and who deleted her whole Twitter a week ago because she was afraid people would go back 5 years and see what she was saying, you know? She spent the Christmas morning with the Obamas at the White House. That's not attacking. That is news. That's something that everyone should be discussing about her credibility and bias. That's not an attack.
Don't you think?
As far as that, well, no, I'm not necessarily, I don't care about what the media is doing. I'm concerned with Trump. Let me just say something. I'm somewhat like Trump. I mean, 60% of my clients are Democrats, okay? 40% of them voted for Obama. Every one of them knows that I'm a staunch conservative. Every one of them knows that. That's not a secret, okay? I don't necessarily make it known, but when they engage me, they obviously know where I stand, and they all know I hate Obama. Listen, Trump goes into the lion's den. That's what you have to understand about him, and I go into the lion's den. I don't care how fair they will be to me. Any fair-minded thinking person would obviously see through it and know that it's unfair, would have to ask themselves, would they want to be treated that way under those circumstances, no matter what? So no, Trump goes into the lion's den, and I commend him for that.
Yeah, yeah.
For courage.
Well, that's what I just said. He goes into the lion's den. Who the hell cares?
You know, Kamala Harris yesterday released this bizarre video. It's in slow motion. She's walking on stage, and she turns around. It's in slow motion with music, and she's wearing sneakers, so she looks hip and everything. And she put this on Twitter to make her look good. There were only 6 people in the audience waiting for Kamala Harris to come out and speak. 6 people. You know, I mean, this is the most pathetic campaign in history.
I could get 6 people.
Well, I hope so. We've got more than that on our we've got more than that sitting with you at your table on our cruise.
Let me say this also. One observation I've actually made, and I think it's horrendous and comical at the same token. Especially there in Chicago. I mean, you have black folks in this country, you know, through their leaders, not my leaders. I'm a conservative. Think for myself and represent myself, certainly through people that I elect. I'm a vote for rather. But in Chicago in particular, you have a war amongst black folks over there. You see how they've done Ice Cube here lately. But you have a war amongst black folks who are fighting themselves over, quote-unquote, rich white men who, by their standards and logic, are mainly represents white supremacists. You know, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, it's as bizarre as bizarre can get, and that's why I've always said, please do not scream this nonsense about racism to me.
Well, and I'll tell you, there's been a big. I mean, this people will discount this and say it doesn't matter, but you've got Ice Cube, who, by the way, is a legend in the hip hop community. They made that damn movie about him a couple years ago, and now 50 Cent. That's big. That I've never seen black celebrities like this from the ghetto rap community come out for a Republican for anything before.
Because on a black Chicago radio station, and it's certainly not in the realm of traditional talk radio, but on a black radio station, it was suggested that Ice Cube should be canceled because he, along with others like him in that industry, spent 40 years calling black women denigrating.
Oh, all of a sudden now there's all of a sudden I thought.
But yeah, Joe Biden and the Democrat Party going back 50, 60, 70 years, who they have been charged credibly with destroying the black family. But
yeah. Now all of a sudden there's accountability for Ice Cube. All right, take care. Appreciate the call. Yeah, mine too. Oh, Steve, when we get back from the break, it'll be time for the Gold Report. But, I got a call from a listener yesterday before you joined the show early in the first hour, and they told me they stopped over on the weekend to Wings Plus on Sample Road in Coral Springs. They got the 50-wing platter, and they did what we tell them to do. They got 50 of the medium hot wings. I'm sorry, 25 of the medium hot wings, 25 of the lemon pepper that are just incredible. And they took them home for the weekend, and they ate them throughout the whole weekend. And I got it. You were talking about the lemon pepper wings for years at Wings Plus, and I like wings. I like the medium hot wings. And I was over there with you one day, and you ordered the lemon pepper wings, and I said, well, let me try one of those. And I ended up eating your whole basket of wings. You had to order a second basket. They were so good. They're so, I couldn't help myself. They were so, I didn't even realize it, Steve. They were so, until they were gone. But what the caller said was so true, is that these are wings that are filled with chicken. There's no fat, no grizzle. I mean, these are just chicken-filled, huge wings, and they taste amazing. No matter what flavor you get, they're incredible. I've had pretty much everything on the menu, and everything is just, we all have our favorites, but it's all spectacular. It's hard for me not to order those lemon pepper anymore because they're so good. At least.
Yeah, maybe more.
At least. So listen, Wings Plus is in Coral Springs, off of Sample Road, about a mile. Yeah, not a problem. About a mile west of University, on the south side of Sample. Brian Walsh, he's the owner, and when you stop in, make sure you tell him you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show. Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, we'll take our break and be back with the Gold Report after this.
Do you want to keep your home and business free from germs and COVID-19? You can with the help of Extreme Germ Busters. Extreme Germ Busters have the most advanced disinfectant delivery system on the planet. It kills 99.9% of germs, as well as viruses, including COVID-19.
Hey.
It's safe, non-toxic, odorless, and EPA approved. It's safe for your home, your office, your car, your doctor's office, restaurants, or anywhere else you want to be safe. Extreme Germ Busters disinfected the entire radio station, the lobby, the studios, the control room, the microphones, the hallway, the elevator, anywhere people have been. And like all Steve Kane Show sponsors, their prices are low. In fact, they charge about half of what the other companies charge. After they disinfect your location, they give you a completion certificate so you can display it in your lobby. And their COVID-19 disinfectants are made right here in the USA. Give them a call right now, 954-69-GERMS. That's 954-694-3767. Online, ExtremeGermBusters.com. That's Extreme, X-T-R-E-M-E. And for you Spanish speakers, they speak Spanish. Help prevent the spread of COVID-19 and germs by keeping
Steve
your
Kane Show.
employees, clients, customers, patients, and your family safe. 954-69-GERMS.
Seniors, open enrollment is here. This is the one time of year you can make changes to your Medicare plan. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080, 954-753-8080, and have her review your Medicare plan, 954-753-8080.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
And now the moment we all wait for each day on the Steve Kane Show, the Gold Report, brought to you by William Youngerman of William Youngerman Inc. William, of course, one of the world's leading experts when it comes to the precious metals, gold, silver, platinum. They have them all at William Youngerman Inc. We are so blessed to have William each day at this time on the Steve Kane Show to give us a rundown about how the markets are opening. William, what's up?
Yeah, the precious metals are up, and the metals continue to trade in a pretty solid range of, for gold, $1,890 to about $1,910. Yesterday, we did see a high yesterday of $1,915 per ounce for gold, but it closed at $1,903.20. That was just above the support level of $1,900. Silver was up slightly at $24.34, but got as high as actually over $25 an ounce yesterday at one point. Platinum closed out today at $852, and Palladium closed out today at
Well, we're not done yet.
$22.25. This morning, we've got gold a little
Yeah,
bit
if you're
higher
not
up
subscribed,
$1.
please subscribe. And everyone in there, please click that like button. All right, like the video. That helps a lot. And if you can, share it.
Platinum up $8 at $860.
What have I not seen yet?
And Palladium is up $10 at $22.35.
What have I not seen?
Most of this on a weaker U.S. dollar.
No, let me go back and look at the
Continued political economic concerns over where we're going forward.
Oh, hey, Evan, we missed you at the house party this weekend.
Certainly a great buying opportunity for gold still around this $1,900 number.
So, for those people who, you've taught us through the years about
Sophie.
buying the dips. For those
Thank you
of
so
our listeners
much
out there
for
who
that
are
super
waiting
chat,
for an
Sophie. No, I did
opportunity,
not
is this
see
a
it.
good time? Would
Thank you
consider
so
this
much.
A dip
$49.99 super chat.
Sorts?
That is awesome.
Yeah, we're still up.
That is greatly appreciated, Sophie.
This year
Thank you
alone
so
on
much.
Gold, but gold did get up over $2,000, over $2,050 an ounce. So we pulled back up about $150 an ounce right now.
Thanks, Evan.
I think still gives us a great buying opportunity. We're still looking for
No,
gold
my battery is low, so I had to turn the dimmer down on my device, so I can barely see the chat up there because I turned the brightness down to prolong the battery through the show.
Drop by William Youngerman. He is located at 150 East Palmetto Park Road.
Well, thank you,
Boca
Sophie, and
Raton.
thank everyone for thanking
That
Sophie.
is in the Bank of America building on the first floor, directly across from the bank. You can reach him by phone. William, give him the phone number.
1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. Our hours are 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and we have all the precious metals in stock for immediate delivery.
Well, thank you, Chuck.
And
Appreciate
don't forget that fabulous website at williamyoungerman.com. William, we'll talk tomorrow right about this time, all right?
Oh, okay. Have a great day.
Man, oh man. All right, you want to go back to the phones? Okay, let's go to Mike in Boca Raton. Hey, Mike.
Hey, I wanted to call back a bit. You mentioned earlier about Glenn Beck, how he kind of set back his career. Another guy, yesterday, it just so happens that Ben Shapiro was on all the social media platforms, and he opened up his show with like an 8-minute monologue on why he's voting for Donald Trump. And as you recall, 2015, he wrote some very scathing articles, opinion pieces on Donald Trump.
Well, in fact, Ben Shapiro wrote an article. The headline was, this was last time, "Why I Will Never Vote for Donald Trump." And then he became a big star, like at his level now since then. And he's been trying to. What that was yesterday was compensating for his stupid mistake back in 2016. Yeah, I know. I don't really pay much attention to Ben Shapiro. He talks so fast.
Ben Shapiro, as far as I'm concerned, is a non-entity in the talk.
You know, I was talking to. I'll tell you about the thing about this caller. Don't go anywhere. You know, I was telling a caller earlier that talk radio is an art form. And there's a lot of these guys that are just partisan guys, you know, like Steve taught me how to do talk radio. I mean, you know. And these guys, just because they go on the air... Go ahead. Yeah, just because these guys go on the air and say conservative things doesn't make them a talk show host. Ben Shapiro talks as fast as an auctioneer. He's unlistenable. I'm sorry.
But he does make some good points, but I can't listen to him. I could maybe once a week.
Well, that's what they mean. That's what they mean. Ben Shapiro is what they had in mind when they invented the word unlistenable.
And unlikable.
2 or 3 minutes, it gets on your nerves. I mean, it's like chalk on a blackboard.
And I've heard him say that he talks so fast because he has so much to share with the listeners. He has to talk fast, so he's so brilliant, he's got to get it out. And he travels around with an armed security detail. Come on.
2 weeks ago about his talking, because they asked him, "Can you slow it down?" He said, "I have so much to say that I can't."
Yeah, he said it again. Oh my goodness, what a jerk.
I'll DM it to you if he could listen, if he could stand it. It's about an 8-minute thing, and he just ran.
Listen, you send me a lot of DMs on Twitter, and I read them all. But please don't send me audio of Ben Shapiro. Don't do that to me.
Hey, did you catch him? Did you see Kirstie Alley last night? Wasn't she?
I did catch Kirstie Alley. It's Kirstie Alley, by the way, on Twitter, on Hannity. Yeah. She has retweeted and liked my tweets on more than one occasion, Kirstie Alley. She's been a big Trump person for years on Twitter.
No, she was I didn't know she was living in Clearwater. I haven't really.
Yeah, that's the big. That's the Scientology headquarters, and that's and she's the big Scientologist.
Their life. Yeah.
Yeah, she used to have all kinds of problems.
I thought James Wood had some. She's got some real winners tweeting.
She's a must follow on Twitter. James Woods and Kirstie Alley are hilarious on Twitter. Yeah.
I was a cokehead for 3 years, and I no longer do it.
I was a cokehead for 3 years. Well, Kirstie Alley is starting a conservative podcast. So that's why you saw her on Hannity last night. Yeah. All right, take care, Mike and Boca. Thanks so much. Oh, Ben Shapiro. Oh my gosh.
Forever.
It hasn't been long enough. There's a lot of guys that are. There's not many guys in radio that I like. I'm very picky, but there's not many that I just can't stand. And Ben Shapiro is one person I just cannot. There's a lot of people that are boring or no talents and all, but he's not likable.
It's almost as bad as Ben Shapiro.
What? Come on, there's no one even close to that bad.
Yeah. He's the one who somehow
I need more info. A rabbi? Well, no, Ben Shapiro is an Orthodox Jew. So maybe you got him
There's somewhere. I'll think of it overnight.
I'll tell you who's really good is Charlie Kirk. He's really good on the air. He's very good on the air, and he's funny. And he doesn't exactly, and he doesn't have this ego that so many of these guys do, Well, regardless of that, I will not be tuning into Savage today. I mean, what he did yesterday was so disgusting. I don't want to listen to him right now. But if he does apologize on the air, let us know tomorrow. I don't think he has it in him.
You're going to say that. I don't think he has the character to be able to apologize.
Yeah.
Honesty to face really what he did.
He's jealous of Rush on many levels, but I think he's jealous of the sympathy he's getting, too, which is sick. That's sick.
As we can analyze it till we're blue in the face, it is unattractive, to say the least.
I know. Yeah. Well, since we're at the end of the show, it's time to turn us off.
All right, that does it for today. We will be back tomorrow at the usual time, 6 a.m. Until then, on behalf of my technical engineer, Tyler Kane, who does all the technical work here, which we have a lot, my partner, Brian Craig, I am yours truly, Steve Kane, and until tomorrow, may God bless Rush Limbaugh.
95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Yeah, I'm rushing to get out of here because the sky is black. I can see the rains coming in from over the ocean. I want to get out of here before it starts pouring down rain. But listen, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And everybody in there, click the like. And Sophie, thanks again for that super chat. That was very nice of you. I got to turn the voicemail on first, though. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, Bruce. Okay, got the voicemail on. All right, guys. Hey, listen. Again, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and click the like button if you don't mind. That helps a lot when you click the like button. All right, take care, guys. I'll see you later.